Welcome, everybody. Happy holidays. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and this is the evening edition of the Jim Masters Show Live. Actually, this particular weekend, we've been doing 2 shows a day, which is extraordinary. One earlier today, we had a fantastic singer, songwriter, and musician from Donegal, Ireland, who was live from Ireland, Conor McGinty. And then we did 2 shows yesterday, 2 shows Friday. Generally, we do 1 show a day, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, I'm your host, Jim Masters. Thanks for joining us. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series that we created about 37 weeks ago, born out of my work as a television and radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, narrator, stage MC for many, many years, working on television and radio in various shapes and forms, on camera, on air, and behind the scenes. And decided to create this show, much fanfare too. So many people are wanting to come on the show. We're booked with guests all the way into February as well, when we have been since we launched this show in late April, which is a true blessing. I love this. I love communicating with people. I love entertaining and inspiring and lifting people up. We have an international audience. Our viewers call themselves the Lovities. They call me Mr. Levity. They call this Levity Hall because I stumbled on saying our show is about light, love, and levity. And I said levity. And from that point on, everybody fell in love with the word levity. So they said, Jim, keep it. So they're the Lovities. I'm Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall on the Jim Masters Show Live. And our guests are all welcomed gloriously as Lovities as well. We celebrate television and music, film, Broadway, Hollywood, health, wellness, science, culinary arts, comedy, inspiration, every aspect of life on this show. Every episode is something different. And sometimes we do on location segments. We do food segments. It's patterned after the old talk shows like with Regis Philbin, Johnny Carson, David Susskind, Steve Allen, some of the names from the past, Merv Griffin, Dick Clark style, Mike Douglas, but with a modern twist, modern sensibility and vibe of today, sort of taking those 2 worlds and bringing them together, bringing back the lost art of conversation. And that's what everybody is saying, and everybody's tagging and sharing and telling everybody about this unique show. We don't treat it as a podcast or even a stream. We, from production to everything else, we put this together really as a television show, born again out of my work in television and radio. So thank you for joining us. And we toast all of you and you and you and you and you from all around the world. We say good evening and welcome. I had about an hour in between shows to quickly change and quickly get into some dinner real quickly. And sometimes I feel like Clark Kent going into Superman. Look who's joining us tonight. George Burns is here with a cigar. He's greeting all of you as well. We love when George is with us. George says hello, and all the other cast of characters are here. We welcome everybody. We have a very special guest. Also with the name Jimmy, Jimmy Roberts is here, award-winning pianist and composer. And there's some really exciting special things that are happening. A new show that is being developed that we're going to tell you about. He's coming to us live and direct from New York City. We thank everybody who joined us earlier on our afternoon show, our afternoon edition of the Jim Masters Show Live. And we welcome many of you back for our evening edition. Christine Clifton is here from North Carolina, USA. Good evening, Jim and Levity friends. We're excited to welcome pianist and composer Jimmy Roberts to the show tonight. Good to see you, Christine. Michael Lasser watching on our YouTube channel. Everybody that's watching on the YouTube channel, we would absolutely love it if you clicked subscribe on the channel. We're building that channel. We hit a milestone this weekend too, which is amazing, a true blessing. So if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're on it, we would love that. Thank you so much. Good to have you with us, Michael. Jimmy, dear friend, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say and play. From Michael. Good to have you here. Good evening, Michael. Robin Shaw is here. Hi, Jimmy. You know, it's funny. People know me as Jim, like Jimmy Roberts. We were both born James. But at home, like my cousins, and they call me Jimmy because my father always uses Jim. So professionally, I'm known as Jim Masters, and that's my real name, Masters, Jim. We didn't pick that out of a hat. Some people say Jim Masters can't be your name. It's too TV sounding. No, it is. I'm the 5th. Goes back to Yorkshire, England. But so at home, they call me Jimmy. My cousins say, Jimmy. So you got two Jimmys tonight for the price of one. Hi, Jimmy from Robin. And Trudy is here. So looking forward to this. Welcome on our YouTube channel, Trudy. And Robin says, hi, Jimmy. Nice to see you as well. You know what was really cool? On Romper Room, when the host would always look in that round circle mirror, back then, they would always have a Jimmy. There was always a Jimmy in the crowd. And he and I, Jimmy Roberts and I, are both from New York, both from Long Island, actually. And back then, there was always growing up on our street, there were Jimmys and Charlies and Stevies and Bobbies and Petey's, and everything was either a Y or an IE. I don't know if they do that as much anymore. We welcome all the lovities watching on the YouTube channel, also on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Roger McDonald says, looking forward to this. Welcome, Roger. Great to have you here. Merlin is here for show number 2 today. Hello again, Jim. Welcome, all lovities. She is in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. Beautiful Ontario, our wonderful Canadian neighbors to the north. Some more comments coming in here. Wow. Jill Jason is watching us once again. Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone, from Jill. June Rachelson Aspa, she's here. She says, hi, all. We love you, June, dear friend. Robin Newman is here. Hey, June, good to see you as well. Sharon DeMaria in Connecticut. Happy Sunday evening, Jim and everyone. Nice to see you. Willie is here for show number 2. That's a real lovity. Here we go again, lovities. Hello, Jim. Hello, Willie. She's watching in the Netherlands and Holland, where it's 1 a.m. And she's here every show, over 200 shows. Kathleen Walker is back, New York City. Love that. Are you knackered yet? On our earlier show, we learned that knackered in Ireland means tired. Talk to me after the show, Merlin in Canada. Deborah says, hi, Jimmy. And we welcome you to our show, Deborah. We're here every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Ann Wozniak is here. Happy Sunday evening, Jim and everyone. This afternoon was amazing. Thank you very much. Learning more. Hey, Jimmy, so glad you let us know about this. That's Fran. Love that. Dennis Scott. Love Dennis. Dennis was a guest about a week ago on our show, and we had such a cool time with Dennis. Dennis is also another Long Island native as well. We had a ball with him. You can see that episode on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Hello, Jim and all lovities and featured guests from Christopher Joseph in Ohio, from South America and Brazil. Hello, Jim and gang. Good to be here. Enjoy this episode of Happy Holidays as well. Carla from Brazil is watching once again. Good to see you, Carla. And Enid Zuckerman says, excited to see and hear Jimmy with Jim. That's right. We are together, and nice to have you with us, Enid. Good to see Kathy in Cleveland. Welcome back, and great work, Allison. Thank you very much. And Christopher, hey, Mr. Loverty, Santa Claus is coming to the Jim Masters show. I think so. We're going to take a look at some more of the comments throughout the show. Keep posting. This is a very interactive live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We welcome everybody's comments, so feel free to share them with us. And I'm so excited to welcome our very special guest, the one and only award-winning pianist and composer Jimmy Roberts, to the Jim Masters Show Live. He composed the music for I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, second longest running off-Broadway musical in New York theater history. I Love You received both Drama Desk and Outer Critics Circle nominations and Best Musical when it opened in 1996. It has since played in all 50 states as well as over 25 countries around the world. And Jimmy has also composed The Thing About Men, 2003 New York Outer Critics Circle Award for Best Musical. His latest show, Welcome to the Big Dipper, is incredible. Its out-of-town debut happened at the Red House Arts Center in Syracuse, New York, followed 2 successful New York readings. His songs were featured in 2 other off-Broadway musicals, My Name is Still Alice and Pets. For television, he composed the theme for the weekly PBS show Theater Talk. His children's music, The Velveteen Rabbit, toured the United States for well over a decade. He is a sought-after pianist and vocalist, delighting audiences with his wit and special way with song. His entertaining programs feature unique mixtures of classical and popular music, everything from Sondheim and Bach and Vivaldi to the Beatles, along with large helpings of Gershwin and Broadway. And recent engagements included the Merkin Concert Hall, Time Warner Center, 92nd Street Y, Steinway Hall, St. Peter's Church, the National Arts Club, and so much more. We are so excited to have him here because, again, he truly is a master of his craft. He's also a poet whose work has appeared often in the New York Times Metropolitan Diary, and most recently in a newly published anthology entitled The Travelers von Meckham. Redhead Press actually published that, and it's available on Amazon.com and other websites as well. Now, some reviews quickly. Rhythmically, perceptive voice. Jimmy Roberts showed how such songs should be done. That's the New York Times saying that. Also, the New York Times saying brilliant performance of a plaintively powerful song by Mr. Roberts. The adulation, the accolades, the reviews are intense and well-deserved, and we are so excited to welcome the one and only. He's seated comfortably at his piano in New York, Jimmy Roberts. Jimmy, welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah. Good to see you, Jimmy, from one Jimmy to the next. How are you, and happy holidays?
It's been okay. I'm doing pretty good. I've loved even getting acquainted with some of my own music to prepare for seeing you today. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're very, very well, a lot of people, they say, oh my God, when they hear me do the introductions, they're saying, is that me? I did all of that?
Right.
Sometimes when you hear it back, you're saying, it sort of brings back memories. It's almost like Ralph Edwards and This Is Your Life.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
A lot of wonderful comments coming in. Willie, who's watching in Holland, says, welcome, Jimmy Roberts, the best show of the world, the Jim Master Show. Thank you very much. Marilyn Stein says, excited to see Jimmy on your show. Oh. Marilyn in Manhattan. Helene says, amazing composer. She's watching as well. Here comes the levity. Remember I told you, we're all about levity on the Jim Master Show live. Kathleen Walker, New York City. Hi, Jimmy, and welcome. And Wozniak says, welcome, Jimmy. Cooper Roberts says, go, Uncle Jimmy. Woo-hoo.
That's my talented nephew.
Isn't that amazing? It's all in the family here on our show. Marilyn Sable, cheers, Jimmy. We love you. They're all watching on the YouTube channel. Thanks, gang. Hope you love our YouTube channel and subscribe to it at Jim Masters TV. Dennis Scott, who was with us about a week ago on our show. This is going to be a showbiz extravaganza. And it was great when Dennis was here as well. Jean's here, and hello from Jean and Dean. And Rose Ben Flute, listening from Scarsdale, New York. Helene says, hi, Jim. Hi, Helene. Welcome. Robin says, I'm from Long Island, too. Wow, it's all in the family here. Judy Left says, Jimmy, watching you from the left coast.
Oh, yes.
That's
and
it.
Judy's parents were in broadcasting, too. Her father.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you
Henry
know that?
Left.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we say good. Yeah. We say good evening, Judy. This just into the newsroom. We welcome you.
That's it.
That's it. That's right. Portions recorded. Like all people, you have thank you very much. We appreciate that, Allison. That's beautiful. And it says, Michael, grateful for your excellent program last night as well. 2 times, Jimmy makes June, our dear mutual friend, smile. We love that. And welcome, June. Yeah.
Enid was referring to the other person who's listening, Michael Lasser, who is practically a scholar in the Great American Songbook and did his own Zoom talk about Irving Berlin and Tin Pan Alley.
Fantastic.
He knows everything.
Oh, my God. Anita here. I'm thrilled to see here Jimmy and watch the show for the first time. Welcome, Anita, on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. I hope you give it a subscribe. We would really love that. Merlin in Canada. In Ontario with the Santa face for the profile. We love that. Welcome, Mr. Roberts, to Levity Hall. You're now a levity. Didn't take long. There's Tonys, there's Oscars, there's Peabodys, there's Tellys, there's Emmys. But when you get a levity on the Jim Masters Show live, it's extraordinary. Are your feet tingling right now, Jimmy, as a result?
Something is tingling in my ears. Maybe I'm being talked about.
Yeah. Well, if your palms are itchy, you're coming into money. Are your palms itchy?
No.
Not as itchy as you'd like.
Nope.
Thanks. That's it. Something was coming into your ear.
Something was coming out. Yeah.
Thanks for having Jimmy Roberts on. Can't wait.
Oh.
Jill says,
Oh.
welcome, Jimmy. Yeah, this is all the levity that comes first. Welcome,
Thank
Jimmy
you.
Roberts, to the Jim Master Show. Christopher
Thank
Joseph,
you.
who's also a performer in Ohio. Ellen is watching. Hi, Jimmy. Ellen tuning in from New Jersey.
Oh, Ellen. Hello,
Psyched to
darling.
join you. And cheers from everybody. Yeah, we're a very viewer-centric, interactive show. We love this. Love the chance to hear the talented Jimmy Roberts. Thanks for having him on. My pleasure, Rosenben Flute. Susan is here. Susan Oldman. Great to see the very talented Mr. Roberts. Love seeing you here.
Thank you, Susan.
Geraldine is here. Hola,
my
Jimmy.
dear sister-in-law.
That's your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome. Love the chance to hear Jimmy Roberts. Julie, so good to see you, Jimmy. Julie and Morris. And
hi, guys.
Love coming in from everywhere here, all points of the globe with our international audience. Sherry says, welcome to Levity Hall, Jimmy. She's one of our regular Levity viewers, so very happy you're with us. Willie is toasting from Holland. Robin says, break a leg, Jim. Kathy, hello, Jimmy. Welcome to the land of Lovities. She's in Cleveland. Susan says, the greatest. Anita says, love you, Jimmy. Leland says, nice to see you.
High school.
Really?
Oh, my
God. Nice to see everybody again today. Sherry Schoenline says, hi to all the Lovities and everybody. And Robin Shaw says, great to see you, Jimmy. Wow. How do you feel? Lots of levity coming our way, huh?
Lots of it. Yeah. You're a great crowd. And my dear friends, I'm so grateful. Let's give them something.
I love this name, too, of this wonderful levity viewer, Joanne Withers O'Hagan.
It's
very Irish. Name. Sending best wishes from Ireland. Thank you very much, Joanne. So, Jimmy, you are an extraordinary talent and a legend, and you're incredibly giving to not just the musical community, but to all of us who love phenomenal music. You're a vocalist as much as you are a composer, pianist. You're a performer. Rogers, you're a poet. Jimmy, the poem last night was true. Maybe we'll get to hear. Feel free to share a poem if you like as well. Jimmy,
ready.
You're now a levity, Jimmy, from Christine in North Carolina. So happy to have such a talented levity guest on the show tonight. Early on, growing up in New York on Long Island's North Shore, Great Neck, like Dennis Scott grew up there too, and I grew up on the island. And I think you only people that are from the island actually say on the island, because a lot of people that aren't from Long Island, they'll say, I'm going in Long Island, but you have to go on it. It's detached from the mainland.
I don't recall saying either. I'm going out to the island.
Going out to the island. Yeah. And how did you first get started growing up on Long Island in New York? What were some of the first inspirations for you? Was it family? Was it a teacher? Was it others that sort of inspired you to go into music early on as a youth?
Right. As usual, it sounds like a simple question, but it's a great question when, you end up in the field of the arts. And I like many people, though, I find musicians will say they kind of displayed a talent early. Nobody kind of even gave it to them, at least in my case. It just was there. I'd be at relatives' homes and I'd be picking out tunes on their piano without any lessons or anything. I just had the ear and the dexterity for it. So people said to my folks, get him a teacher. So they bought a piano and they got him a teacher. And then what type of musician was I? Even as a young person, I had a strict teacher first who made me I'm grateful, made me learn to read music. Was strict about that. But I seemed to have an ear and like to make up my own stuff. So in a way, it was a little restricting. And I remember one time I was playing the simplest 3-note silly piece that she had me play. And I interrupted her and said, well, could you hear something I'm working on? And I was like 9. And I played her the theme by ear from the movie at the time, Exodus. Like you. And, instead of encouraging, she goes, very well. Now let's get back to our lesson. But I always had two sides of me, the kind of disciplined classical side and the popular music side. And I like to think that they found their happy home in musical theater, which involves both disciplines in a way. It involves, there's a classical background as part of it and classical techniques and discipline, but at the same time, you have to be with it with pop music and with jazzier stuff and being just creative. And so I found a happy home there.
Well, what really spoke to your heart? What kinds of music early on really were you inspired by, and some of the folks that you really were clinging towards?
I clinged towards a pianist who ended up moving to Great Neck. His name, and he was my idol, so that was a crazy coincidence. His name was and still is Peter Nero,
Oh,
and he
Peter
was a
Nero,
great
yeah.
Grammy-winning popular
Oh,
pianist.
fantastic. I have
He,
so much
go
of his
ahead.
music. I have so much of his music. Absolutely. He and Roger Williams. I mean, some of these greats. Yeah.
Here's Roger Williams.
That's right.
Peter was a little jazzier,
Yes.
but like me, that's why I clung to him. He combined classical and popular, and so I thought he did it at the highest level. Now he moved to Great Neck, and he had a daughter the same age as my sister, Jody. They've had play dates, and I credit my wonderful mother with this. She was still around, and she, when Mrs. Nero, Peter's wife, came to pick the daughter up after a play date. My mother suggested before she leaves, she listened to me play piano. And she did, and I played Rhapsody in Blue for her or something. And the quote in my family is, she said, "I'm no maven, but I think he's very talented." And what she did was call Peter's piano teacher in Manhattan and arrange for me to meet her, audition for her, and study with her.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
I was about 16, and that was like, what a leap I got to take by going into this city from Long Island, studying with this woman whose name was Constance Keene. And a fabulous pianist, fabulous teacher, had taught Peter, and she took me on. And I studied with her right through Manhattan School of Music. From that fateful meeting when a mother did what a mother does and said, "Listen to my son play."
That's fantastic. And take us from there. What happened from there? Obviously, you're in the Manhattan School of Music. What were some of the opportunities that developed while you were in the school?
Well, again, don't forget, I was caught between the classics and the pop.
Yes.
And I even went to Indiana University, by the way, for my first year. Great School of Music. I had a fabulous concert pianist teacher there, very serious. His name was George Bollett, one of the greatest of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he understood the other types of music too well. And I was torn and tortured. What should I do? And I once asked him, I don't know whether to go into classical or popular. And this was his contribution: "They're different."
That's the second one that had that sort of response.
That's true. You know, that's a famous thing throughout music history, especially American music. If you even see the biographies of George Gershwin in the movie Rhapsody in Blue about his life, and it's true too. He was torn between, I want to play jazz, but my teachers want me to play classical. And it took a very wise teacher to encourage the thing he was best at. And the truth is, Gershwin and many of us love both things. And you know, you just shouldn't try to pigeonhole people is the thing. And you know, eventually it all works out. You take all your influences. Anyway, I came back to Manhattan after that 1 year with the serious guy, back to Constance Keene. But I would say I became more and more interested in theater, and I met a man who had starred in Fiddler on the Roof and toured with him in a one-man show, and toured colleges, and really got to see what it's like to work in front of an audience and see how jokes would land and how drama would land, even with a one-person show. And then he would give me a shot at playing Rhapsody in Blue. I looked kind of young in those days, so when I finished it, he'd come back out on stage and say, "Pretty good for 12 years old."
That is amazing. So So yeah, continue the story because
Oh,
this
I
is
was going to say my senior piano recital at Manhattan School of Music, the big formal affair where you play all your Bachs and Beethovens. I
Mhm.
did play all those composers, but for the encore, I played my own arrangement of music from Fiddler on the Roof, which was not usual, I don't think, at the Manhattan School of those days. And I even started it with a joke. I told the audience, "This is with the original cast, by the way." But you didn't make jokes at recitals.
No.
Mind you, everything's changed in the past 30 years. All the music conservatories offer jazz. They offer musical theater. All the things that they wouldn't let me do, they do now. And it's so you see that's where things were going. And
Mhm.
people are, until this pandemic, I think these programs were thriving. Jazz, musical theater, in addition to the classics. And
Yeah,
all the schools were smart. Juilliard, Manhattan, they all do it.
they all do it. So as time is marching on through your journey and you're being inspired, and hey, look, great to see you. Class of 70 is proud of you. Brad Martin,
I, he's my class of 70.
Penny Johnson, love your impersonations, Jimmy. We'll have to hear that too. We'll have to.
And Penny has devoted herself to that teacher of mine, Constance Keene. She's going to write a book about her. She knows everything about my wonderful teacher, Constance.
You have a slight resemblance to Mel Torme.
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't?
Thank you.
What do they usually say? Does anybody try to?
Um, I haven't heard anything recently. It used to be Donald Sutherland.
Oh, I can
And
see
when
that in the eyes. Yes.
I was going to college and I had really long hair, Mick Jagger. But
And we'll have that picture next, folks.
yeah,
And yeah, most I love that the Fiddler arrangement was amazing. That's from learning more as well. So when you look at all of this progression and this forward movement in your life and these opportunities that were developing and the training that was happening and the talent building that was happening and the fine tuning and you sort of carving out your path, what you wanted to do, who you were going to be, what your voice was going to be. What would you say was one of those doors that opened up along the way that really was a crucial one that sort of really propelled things even further in a positive way for you and your career, Jimmy?
well, the way you ask it, which is so nice, I'd skip ahead to the composing part of things because I left the conservatory and did musical directing of theater, which was a wonderful thing to do. But I used to think, what if I can write my own things? And I love when you hear how people get their start from some chance meeting, let's say. Even Stephen Sondheim says he was at a party and for some reason they hadn't engaged a lyricist for West Side Story yet.
Yeah.
And in other words, go to parties because that's often get out.
Yes.
I went to a wedding and I met the people who ran a fabulous children's theater that's still around called TheaterWorks USA.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or other, from that meeting of the artistic director, I was asked to write the music for a children's musical. Somebody had adapted this famous kids' book, The Velveteen Rabbit.
Yes.
And I didn't even know it. It's a wonderful book to this
Mm-hmm.
day. But it was written so long ago, this is the important thing, that the copyright had lapsed. You didn't have to pay anything for it. So this partner they set me up with, James Still, had written a play based on it, and TheaterWorks sent out musicals, new commissioned musicals to introduce people between, let's say, 5 years old and 12 years old to musical theater. And the cast of 5 and a van and a set would tour the entire country. And the actors would earn their equity cards from that too. And I was privileged to write this musical based on the Velveteen Rabbit. And guess what, Jim? It's still done today.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote it in the 80s.
That's unbelievable.
And it's a pretty good show. And it's a great book, The Velveteen Rabbit. It says deep stuff in it.
I like what Carol says. Jimmy, best ground floor neighbor possible. You just keep enriching. Bravissimo.
Well, this is a great concert flutist, Jim, of the world. And she happens to live in my building, Carol Winsense. And we have a mutual, appreciation society. I am on the first ground floor, let it be known, Jim. And people tell me they sit on the bench by the elevator and listen to me. I haven't started a cover charge yet, but I might.
But you might. Great to see you, Jimmy, from Janine Tabas, watching on our YouTube
Yes,
channel.
Tavis, yes.
We welcome
Yes, great to
Janine.
see you, Janine.
We welcome
Janine was from
Carol.
Great Neck, Jim. Janine
Oh
was
my
from Great
God.
Neck, and she married my cousin.
Boy,
Yeah,
we should have had this show sponsored by their Chamber of Commerce. That would have been great.
really.
That's great. Congratulations to the Velveteen Rabbit from Jill Jason as well.
Yeah.
So the Velveteen Rabbit, of course, but then from there, take us. What was coming up next for Jimmy?
I worked with other lyricists as a composer.
Yeah.
Now I do a lot of my own lyrics, but then I collaborated with others. And somebody heard something, and somebody set me up with somebody else, and somebody said, "Oh, this guy's written a little review about relationships," and it was called "Love Lemmings," as if you're taking a leap into the dating abyss. And but they wanted it to have music, and I skipped the backwards and forward stuff. We ended up working together. His name's Joe DiPietro.
Oh, sure. He's coming on the
powerhouse.
show in January on the 18th.
Oh, isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Joe and I wrote. We ended up writing "I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change," right here in my living room, and we wrote a second musical. And I'm so proud of Joe. He went on to write Memphis, which won a Tony Award, and he had a show running right until till COVID closed it, about Princess Diana, called Diana.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that will come again. He was a wonderful collaborator to work with, and like I say, we were set up because somebody knew somebody, like kind of a blind date, and we met. And I actually turned him down at first because I thought his stuff was so funny, and I thought the music would soften it. It was very edgy. So, but then when an actual offer came from a theater, I changed my mind, and we persevered. And I told you, Jim, the show has played all over the world now. Nobody knew these things. And most recently, it was made into a big budget film in Hong Kong in the Cantonese language.
Is that unbelievable?
This is a small 4-person off-Broadway show.
Mm-hmm.
As Joe said, our small 4-person off-Broadway show just became a big budget Chinese movie.
It's amazing how that works, right? That's a testament to quality and to resilience and to great work. And Judy says, now we are waiting for the sequel of the Velveteen Rabbi.
She says that's the Jewish version, the Velveteen Rabbi. Yes.
And
I knew somebody, and leave it to Judy.
I'll leave it to Judy. Robert says hello. He's watching too. Yeah. And Mindy, I was at Jimmy's graduation recital and remember it as one of the highlights of my years at Manhattan School of Music.
Yes, Mindy was a wonderful classmate of mine. Mindy very perspicaciously like me, was drawn out of the classical world slightly. She did practically a dissertation. It was on Stephen Sondheim. This is in the 70s when it wasn't on everybody's, but she just felt drawn to that too, and that's part of her. She's also a publicist in the opera and classical fields.
That is spectacular. Wonderful group merging with our viewers and lovities from around the world. And we love all of this. June says amazing and wonderful, which I agree. So again, continue this wonderful story. People are commenting. They're loving to hear this story because some of them aren't aware of this wonderful career journey that you've had. What happened next for you, Jimmy?
Working with Joe, let's see.
That's true.
2 musicals with him.
Yeah.
And the rest is a blank, I feel, till I started writing this new musical called Welcome to the Big Dipper. 2 dear friends who happen to be very close with Joe too got together with me and told me about a somewhat of an original story they had written based on a semi-true incident that took place up in Buffalo, New York. And it involved a travel lodge in Buffalo, New York. In the winter, of course, in Buffalo, it has to be in the winter, right?
With the lake effect, snow, and the whole bit. Absolutely.
Exactly, lake effect. And people are stranded in this particular, and our playwrights' parents were at this hotel to see something in the area. And they reported to her that there was a very strange mix of people at the Travelodge that night. A group of Amish people and a group of cross-dressing men were populating the rooms. And it
about
seemed
polar
that,
opposites.
and they were the management was placing the Amish, serious Amish people between the cross-dressers because they were right boisterous and they wanted to keep the noise level down. Now this led to this, our collaborator, Catherine Fillou is her name. How's that for French? Her parents are French. Catherine, we think of it here, Fillous, writing a play based on what her parents told her, based on what might have happened at that Travelodge in Buffalo on that lake effect night with the Amish and the cross-dressers. And her husband, John Daggett, who is an actor and a writer, suggested we make it a musical, and they came to me. And I had nothing else much that interested me then, and I climbed on board. You know how long ago that was? I don't like to think. It may have been 10 years ago.
Really?
I think anybody will tell you if you really ask them. Mostly musicals, they do. I think Hamilton took 8 years. Nobody thinks about that.
Right.
So we've been working on it that long. It was called All Dressed Up and Nowhere to Go. And as the play became clearer and clearer to us what it was about, we realized it was about the spirit of this inn. And the inn was called the Big Dipper Inn. And there are reasons for that. And the show is called Welcome to the Big Dipper now for that reason. And another funny thing along the way is, as I say, it was set in Buffalo. And some incidences happened. And we noticed that there's a little, I could get in trouble for this, sensitivity upstate New York there in Buffalo. About, it was rather made an impression on us that some of the things we said were even taken the wrong way due to this oversensitivity. And it liberated us. We decided to move our show's setting to a fictional location near Niagara Falls. So, Jim, welcome to Bigelow, New York.
And guess what? We actually have here, it's amazing the things that we come up with. We actually have some material from Welcome to the Big Dipper, an excerpt. Do you want to tell us about it? We can play that for our wonderful, lovely viewers.
I just gave the final part of our opening number. The opening number is when everybody checks into this hotel. Joan, the host, is an African-American woman. She wants to close the whole hotel. And unfortunately for her, the cops from New York State bring these poor stranded Amish families and these cross-dressing men who are on their way to Toronto to be part of the Ladies of the Lake talent contest. The Amish just want to get back to Paradise, Pennsylvania. There they are. They're all lined up with their baggage. And I mean their baggage and their baggage. And they've all introduced themselves in this long opening number, kind of the way in Fiddler on the Roof, you meet people, you meet who you're going to get to know. I've come to the end of it, though, where Joan realizes that her place is going to be a sanctuary for these folks. And that's deep in her heart what she wants anyway. She wants her place to be a sanctuary. And they settle in for the night in a very strange place with very strange people looking at each other. The Amish looking at these men in wigs and dresses, and the cross-dressing men looking at the Amish with bonnets, and long beards. And now they're settling into their rooms at the end. And I used an Amish hymn that I kind of made up, and that takes us to the end. So you could play it at that point where they're just about, everybody's in their rooms settling in for the night.
Fantastic. Okay. Welcome to the Big Dipper Inn. This is just an excerpt. Enjoy. It is fantastic. Here we go.
Mama, don't waste your time. I won't shed a tear. My conscience is clear. Gotta get out of here. Strange is this place to spend the night.
What's all the fuss? Just fix the bus. Next stop for us. Hello, Toronto.
Crowded with wires and electric lights.
There's something about Rebecca
mixing with men who know not what they are. I'm burning with a vision that no one can see. Seeking her home like a distant star.
We'll be the best dressed.
You'll win the contest.
Marcy.
Home is as far as a distant star. I'm your sanctuary,
Deep in the night, I've lost my way.
Now you
Far from my home, I pray for day.
I'm your
Staring at strangers I'll never know. Counting the hours until I go. Hours and hours till I go
Wow. I love the sound. I love the harmony. I just love the energy. I mean, that was really fantastic.
Thank you.
I know.
I get moved by it too.
Yeah, don't you? Yeah, I can tell. It's really, it's a labor of love, isn't it? And the singers are fantastic.
Oh, we were so lucky with our New York cast for that, and we hope to employ them again as soon as we can.
Jill says, would love to hear the entire opening number. Absolutely. And Merlin in Canada, claps, claps, claps. Mary sending love to Jimmy from Kansas City.
Kansas City, Mary. Hi, sweetie.
Kansas City, Mary. Welcome, Kansas City, Mary. Mary Kingsley. Kathleen in New York City, claps, claps, claps. Anita, bravissimo. Really loving that. That is fantastic. It's exciting.
I like that. I like that your listener said they want to hear the whole thing, because that's a good sign, you know.
Yes, right. So tell us about like where it's at and status and things of that nature.
Right. Well, we have two new projects in this period. Like I said, we're keeping on trucking in spite of everything. And it's amazing that, you know, the whole thing's a journey. It's a process. You can't believe, you know, our name changed. We changed Buffalo to Bigelow. Who could have predicted? And who can predict what's going to happen next? Though we all feel we have something there. And the audience, the reading audiences, you know, are moved by it too and feel the same way. So the two things we're doing now, one is, can you imagine, we're commissioning a painting to do with our show. We're commissioning a painting that's going to show this legendary inn, and it's going to depict the people who are about to enter it. The Amish, the cross-dressers, the African-American folks, everybody. And we found a painter who's very special in South Carolina named Sonia Griffin Evans. And she's painting. We hope to use it as an inspiration, as a logo for a potential website. And it's just strange that one of our, I think it was Katrine, had the idea of doing that. So that's project number one, a painting for a musical. Isn't that funny, the way the arts, you know, fertilize each other? And the other project is a video, which we just shot, and we're going to edit it. It's a video of our woman who plays the lead of the show, Joan, the host at the inn, in a studio singing her signature song called Sanctuary. And it's just to publicize the show, and it shows the three of us creators speaking about the show, not to mention our wonderful and new director, Damone Seraphin, who has just come on board and is inspiring us like gangbusters.
That is fantastic. Yeah, better than Sondheim. Yes.
No. I'm not worthy. Now there's the Buffalo native. I think she's sensitive. You see, she's defensive right there. This is somebody, Michael, a wonderful critic, saw it in Syracuse. And he's saying he notices just from that opening that he feels things have changed, and the things I'm telling about.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it in your mind, everybody. Welcome to the Big Dipper. You wouldn't imagine that that's an inn. And I'm not going to tell the secret of why it's called the Big Dipper, because that's part of our very important plot. which you'd have to come to see the show.
So you're just really waiting to see what goes on with 2021 to then move forward for it.
Oh, yeah.
If you get
All
the
right.
green light, I mean, cross fingers and toes. If you get the green light, do you already have the venue, everything, where the dream place where you want to have that happen?
Great question again, Jim. Not quite. I'd say generally in these things, you want to be out of town and try something
Yeah.
regionally. But we did it in Syracuse, but it wasn't a full staging. We want to see how it looks, how an audience reacts when the Amish are with their beards and their cross-dressers are wearing their wigs and dresses and so on, and just see how it all works with dancing.
Do you do
And so
anything at all with the Goodspeed Opera House or any of those venues?
we would like to. We're submitting it to those places. And, I should say we are looking, obviously, for the 1 or 2 or 3 people who would believe in it so much, probably one, who would shepherd us forward. I mean, a producer.
Yeah. Yes.
And just like everything else, it's always unpredictable. And, I Love You, You're Perfect, No Change was just a show dying for somebody to believe in it back in the early 90s. And we also rented a church and presented it just one act, which was very smart, just half of it. Because sometimes you sit through these things and they're just too long. It's either good or it's not good. So our director, Joel Bischoff, invited his professor at Columbia, who happens to have been James Hammerstein, the son of Oscar Hammerstein.
Yeah.
His teaching directing, was a great director. And he invited him just to see it. And we showed him one act. And Jamie Hammerstein asked Joel, "Is the rest of it as funny as this?" And from that question, he became our producer.
Wow.
Along with John Pollard and Bernie Kukoff. And the 3 of them shepherded us to Off-Broadway. And like I said about Out of Town, they got us into, since you mentioned New Haven to me, Jim, we were at the Long Wharf Theater.
Oh, sure. The Long Wharf. Yeah.
Which isn't the most likely place for this type of show. They're a little more. But in fact, somebody once asked me, how did the Long Wharf Theater come to do I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change? And I said, well, a board member came down to New Jersey and saw the show and reported back that it was very entertaining. And the board said, well, let's do it anyway.
That's the way it works sometimes, right?
It is. We did it there, and that's what got us in shape for Off-Broadway.
Which
it's
is
an amazing process. You bring a show from even New Haven to Off-Broadway, the audiences were different. Things that worked in New Haven didn't work on 43rd Street. Something about that New York pace and the vibe of New York. There's a little too much of like, all right, I already got that joke. Give me something more interesting.
Keeps you on your toes, right?
Right. You have to be. You better you better rewrite and change your material when you hear things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we did. We cut songs. In musical theater as in poetry, you, the writer, fall in love with certain songs or certain words in a poem, and then they have that terrible phrase, sometimes you have to murder your darlings. Let go of them. You love them, but nobody else is. They once were good, but no more. And it's important to murder your darlings if you have to.
I've asked this question of people, even in my professional work in television, radio, folks that I've had an opportunity to interview. Some of them are authors, some of them are actors, whatever it may be. But usually the creator of the material, and I'll always ask, when you create a piece, if you write a book and you have characters in the book, if you write, a screenplay, whatever it is, a television show, the characters themselves, the people that are involved, almost become like your children. You're very protective of them. You're very, always overseeing it. And you have this love and this connection to it. Do you find that to be the very same with what you do?
When I describe my plot of this Welcome to the Big Dipper to people, I seem to have this fervor. And if I describe it to strangers, sometimes they go, is this really true? Did this happen? Because I believe it so deeply that I speak about it with a conviction, even though it didn't happen. It's fictional, but it's going on in my head and then in my collaborator's head. And that's what you need to bring a show to fruition. And the creators have to have it deep in their heads, and hopefully they have the same show in their heads pretty much, because we're all talking about everybody's individual imagination here.
Tell us about that process where you do have people who are working on the same material, but there's different perspectives and different backgrounds and just different interpretations, and how you're able to cohesively collaborate and blend to where you're still remaining true to the form of the original idea, vision, mission, but yet then can add in some of these other thoughts and ideas and other contributions from a variety of different people that happen to be working on the same project.
I know it's a great value to have collaborators. I just wouldn't want to be alone. Sometimes I think it's like an image of war buddies. You're in the foxhole with these people and you need them and they need you for your life. Well, we need each other for this musical. We need our different strengths that each brings, and we all have weaknesses, which hopefully the other people bring strengths to. And in my case, in my recent years, we sit at a little bridge table with any of my collaborators in my living room, and we talk and talk and talk. We call it in our show brain squeezing. We just explore these characters and what they would do. And because the songs I write come out of the characters' motivations and really nothing else. So you have to know your characters really well and know their moods and their emotions. And I check that with my two collaborators, Katrine and John. Then I might write a song and play it for them. And there may be parts of it that they, I can't see, but are not in keeping with this character. And then we have to, work on it again.
When do you know when you're finished? When do you know, like, for example, again, another question I ask a lot of people, especially writers, when you're very attached to it and you're finally getting ready to start it, how do you know how to begin? And how do you know when to say we're finished? That's all the editing and all the fine tuning and tweaking we can do, because you can, and I've done a lot of editing, in my work, where you can keep editing and trying to strive for this heavenly perfection, but you can also overthink it and over edit it. And it sort of starts losing the authenticity and the organic nature, because it's being so perfect. It's almost too perfect in a way. So how do you know when to say we've reached what we were aiming for and we're good with it, we're comfortable with it, now let's send it out there to the world?
Hopefully, first, one of my other collaborators or me to them would see that we're going down the wrong path, that we're getting to. All the things you said, Jim, are so true. And I've done it in poems, and I've done it in we do it on our show. We get hooked on some little idea and we can't let go of everything. All our energies are into that, and it's the wrong road anyway. Hopefully one of us sees it, or our director, Damone, or even a producer. Sometimes people don't want them to interfere creatively, but sometimes they're right on, and you listen to them too. They would say, stop that, this is fine. And practically, you would stop working, of course, if you're lucky enough to have an opening. I think you'd have to stop writing once it opens. There are tales of writers who go backstage and start giving the actors new lines or no. So I think just for a practical reason, you'd have to stop. I suppose you're saying, technically you could go on forever, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So you have to control yourself a little. I love this old phrase somebody once said, 19th century, a work of art is never finished, only abandoned.
That's very true. That is
in
very,
a way
very
it is. Move on to the next thing, and and so on. And people rewrite things. And you know, I Love Your Perfect Now Change was written in the 90s. By 2010 and beyond, it was starting to be a little dated. And I love the way Joe, in particular, Joe DiPietro, and me going along with him, updated it in a way that makes more sense for today's audiences. And it's great. You know, we've gone from just being about straight white people, let's say, to a whole range of personalities still being able to do our material, or we rewrote it to work. And for instance, in London, there's two productions just about to happen in spite of the difficulties today. One is going to be streaming from a London theater, and one is hoping to tour live theaters as soon as they're able to. And these were young people doing it totally different
way. And that's very cool and exciting, you know, sort of adapting and pivoting, which, you know, everybody's had to do in certain different ways, had to pivot with everything that's going on. You mentioned the audiences of today. How have the audiences changed and morphed? What is it that you have found from doing this work so long? And through all the different nuances and changes of an audience, what is an audience generally? And again, you can't necessarily generalize anything in life, but what is a typical audience looking for today? Does everything have to be almost like in the movies where there's a lot of flash and excitement and boom, 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 the attention span, it's got to be like really, you know, on fire? Or are they also looking for something that draws them in, but doesn't always have to have all the flash and everything? Do you find from your expertise an idea of what people tend to be looking for, or does that really matter on location and you know, timing of the year or any of these factors?
Wow. I was thinking that there's always been an audience that wants flash and pizzazz, and they think that's why they spend the bucks to go to theater, and they let them enjoy that because and then there are others who don't particularly want that. They want to be challenged intellectually or affected emotionally, and they don't want to be assaulted by the scenery and flash. But
Yeah.
those are different people, and they both deserve shows. The audience, the aging audience, is maybe aging out, and there are young people who are, I think, more open to things of all sorts of subjects, and aren't so conversant with the old-fashioned type of shows. In a way, it'd be nice if they were, just because it's a great tradition. But in a way, they have something to tell us about what we ought to present today in theater. And I guess I'm a little older, but our show has been forced to evolve. We've learned from our cast and our audiences and our director and we had a previous director, and guiding us into what's going on today in terms of race and gender and sexuality. And it was in our show, but we had to hone it and perfect it. And many times our cast members would make a comment to me, and they'd saying, this type of person or this character would never say that or would never do that. And I realized they were right. I was just coming out of my limited perspective. Thank God. So I changed my words and music to reflect a person. We have a transgender woman in the show, and they told me, stop making it about an operation. That's like the cliche of transgender. Did you have an operation or not? They said it doesn't matter. It's the person inside, and this is who they feel they are. Right about that. That's where the drama is.
That's right. Absolutely.
We took the operations out of, took surgery out of our show, and it felt good.
We have another clip here, more fabulous music. This is Take Me Into You. Tell us about this one, Jimmy.
What a great idea Joe DiPietro had for making a musical out of a German movie called Männer. I'm trying to do my German. It means men. Yeah. But it was a great setup for a show. It's a prosperous middle-class couple, and but an affair is revealed right away. He has his loose little flings, but he never expected it of his wife. And it turns out it's with a kind of bohemian artist where he's an ad man. And he's the other guy's like a painter with long hair. And he's just flummoxed, our ad man. And he does what any normal man would do. He leaves his wife and goes to live under an assumed name with the artist who needs a roommate badly. And it's about that connection, which he's trying to destroy the relationship from within. There's a lot of surprises. But in this scene, the wife is meeting the artist in the park, and it's like at the height of their passion for each other. And they both say, "Take me into you," meaning, it sounds a little, what's the word? A little vulgar too, but it's supposed to mean take me into in every way.
Yeah, every aspect of who I am, inside and out, right.
So this is Sebastian, the artist, who actually works at Starbucks as a barista. He hasn't sold a painting in a year. And Lucy, the middle-class wife of Tom, who is incensed, but this is their little isolated moment of love, Sebastian and Lucy.
Take Me Into You on the Jim Masters Show Live.
Every color, every curve, they all serve to uncover what is true. Every shadow, every shade, they're all made to take me into you. Take me into you. Though I know it won't be easy, take me into you and let yourself go.
Though I'm terrified, I'll try not to give a damn. See me as I am.
I'll relax some more. Let the sunlight warm your shadow. Take me into you
and let myself go.
Why should we turn back? Things are not the way they were. Everything's a blur. Suddenly I'm here, caught by surprise, looking in my lover's eyes. Though it may seem less than wise, who knows where life may lead. Never dreamt I'd see this through. Follow a path so new. But I'll go if you will take me into you. Falling into love without regret, recklessly without a net. Just a game of life's roulette that carried you to me. Maybe I was overdue for one small dream come true. Now I dream that you will take me into you. Take me into you.
That is absolutely beautiful, and that's what everybody's saying. Beautiful and lovely voice song as well. And you know what I love? I always love when I watch my guests who are, because we're in these little screens on the bottom, we can see each other. And when they get so swept up by their own work, it's almost as if you're reliving it, you're feeling it again as you're hearing it, right?
That's right. And
Deeply.
I hadn't revisited that in a while. But thanks to you, I did. And that I should mention that those two wonderful Broadway singers are Ron Bomer and Leah Hocking.
Terrific, huh? They knocked that out of the park.
They really did.
Yeah.
Thank you. And just like I won't tell the plot ending of Welcome to the Big Dipper, leave it to the audience to figure out how this husband works it out so that his wife leaves Sebastian, the lover, and comes home. It's a very clever thing, and it's in the German movie too.
It is an actual movie.
Yeah, it was based on this German film by Doris Dörrie, a well-known German filmmaker, and it was a sleeper hit in America. And so that was called Man, and our show was called The Thing About Man. It only lasted 6 months. 6 months off Broadway, though. Sadly, I was used to the 20 years of my other show. What can I say?
Yeah, that's what it is. And a sleeper hit, no pun intended.
Oh, yes.
You are at your beautiful piano there, and I know you wanted to tickle the ivories and share some things. What would you like to share with us, Jimmy?
What occurred to me was, since I've spoken about this whole classical popular divide and hopefully synthesis, another way I worked it out was to take classical and popular pieces and blend them in a way that brought harmony to my mind. A lot of people do that to sound clever, in other words, to show how clever they can be to do popular and classical. I felt like I just had this need. It was almost like I had warring parents and I had to bring them together in peace, these two. So I do it with the particular, I'll do a short one. It was the first one I did, a combination, you might call it. I don't know what to call it really, but this one is the Sondheim song, Send in the Clowns, along with Johann Sebastian Bach's cantata, Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring.
Oh my
God. I'm gonna meld them together. I hope it comes across.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Can you see? Oh, you can even see the keyboard a little. Wonderful.
Yes, and we'll make it bigger so we can see everything. The wonderful Jimmy Roberts on the Jim Masters Show Live.
I'm gonna go down a little.
Mm, mm, mm. That is absolutely beautiful. That is really, I love both of those singularly, but to hear them beautifully blended like that. Do you love to do that? Do you do that often where you take two, because obviously not every song would blend perfectly, but that those two do.
Yeah, I have on my piano is a letter from Sondheim himself, to whom I sent this,
Oh, you
and
did.
he wrote back, "Bach is as good company as one could ask for." Thank you.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. That I mean, to get a response like that. Let's look at some of the comments we have here. This is great. Love the combination of the two songs from Kathleen Walker in New York City.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Linda Odell, sounds like Bach, Beethoven, and Jimmy all rolled up together in this song. So beautiful, from Linda Odell in St. Augustine, Florida, USA.
Oh,
Jill Jason, wow, brilliant. Love the blend. More coming in. Christopher Joseph in Ohio, USA. Crazy how these
crazy.
songs work so well together. Mary says, loved it. Michael, wonderful song, Jim. Fine singers, terrific material to work with. Very nice. Beautiful. And beautiful. And I think with the previous song, too, that we heard, thank you for sharing your new music with us, Jimmy. Can't wait to hear it live in the theater. Some other comments coming in as well about everything that we're sharing here. And Wozniak says, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you, Ann.
Lori in Nashville, and she spells it's funny to see Bravo Jimmy from Lori, because that's my sister's same name and same spelling. So it looks like I'm looking at Jimmy and Lori. Bravo Jimmy from Lori in Nashville. Yeah, watching. Yes, beautiful from Jean and Geraldine. So wonderful to hear you play, hear your music, and listen to your words. Love all your music. Thanks for watching, Geraldine. And Deborah, I've heard several of these blendings, and they are brilliant and gorgeous.
Thank you, Deborah.
You know, when you perform, you also like to, because you're a entertainer and a vocalist as much as, we're concentrating on composition and pianist. Tell us about that aspect of your being a vocalist as well, and your being an entertainer.
I think I got the guts to be a vocalist by playing piano at a hotel in Midtown, the Drake Hotel, which is gone now.
Yeah.
But I had a 7-year gig there, and I got tired of just playing piano. So with a lot of nerve and no microphone at first, I just began to sing the standards, kind of like the way Michael Feinstein did. And I felt more and more confident about it. And that's it. I could probably use voice lessons, but I just love interpreting lyrics. And I just love, I mean, the point is, if you're singing, what are you doing? You're singing words. If you play music, you're playing notes, but when you sing words, and words are such an important part of a song, but it's a different part of the brain. I always quote the famous lyricist Yip Harburg, E.Y. Harburg, who wrote such good songs as Over the Rainbow and Paper Moon and Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? But he really understood that amalgam, talk about blending. It's like different parts of the brain, the music and words. And he said very simply, music makes you feel feelings. Words make you think thoughts.
Yeah.
But a song makes you feel a thought.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. That really captures it so beautifully. Never thought about it that way. Yeah. You have something else. I know there's a couple of things you want to share with us, and they're loving the playing. You know what I love too is the attachment to the piano. I've noticed that left hand has not come off the piano, and as you're talking, you're caressing the top back and forth. The instrument becomes a friend. It becomes part of you, right?
It's really true. It's I mean, the piano is a huge instrument, so it's also a piece of furniture, but it's also kind of sensuous, isn't it? And it involves touch. So yes, I do.
Jill says, feel a thought. She loves that. Ellen
Isn't it?
says, missing those Drake days. It was a gift to see Jimmy live there back in the day.
Oh, all my friends would come.
Drake
was
Bar
just
of Blessed
great.
Memory was a great place. Sounds like a perfect setting for you, Jimmy. Kathleen saying, I love listening to the piano. Linda Odell in St. Augustine, Florida. The beginning of that music you just played was so amazing. Mary Kingsley had said, this reminds of your days at the Drake. It's amazing.
You see? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in the 80s and early 90s, and it was a blast.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So
you have
okay.
something else? Yeah, you want to tickle the ivories a little bit more for us? We're loving it, Jimmy.
I thought I'd do something funny.
Absolutely. Do you want to tip your camera down so we see the keys again?
Well,
your camera guy didn't show up tonight. Welcome to the world of the internet, where it's all like everybody, they're their own production people and technical director.
What a time this is.
Yeah, there used to be crews of hundreds, and now everybody's doing everything out of their house. This is out of my home studio. We started this show, 37 weeks ago, born out of my work in television, radio, and we're doing this out of the house as well. That's what it is. And
right. Well, I want, I'll feature. I mean, I was thinking we're impoverished in a way these days. We're talking on Zoom and we're doing make do, and we're doing well. We do our best, but it's sad in a way too. And I hope
because we're apart, because we're here, we're together, but we're apart at the same time.
Exactly.
How close we are and how far away we are at the same time.
Yeah, and it's kind of new, and it's impoverished, I call it, but we struggle through. We have to muddle through and do the best we can. You've made a beautiful little setup there, and it sounds like if it's 37 weeks, it wasn't, I don't know when it began, but then you were somewhat in this period where this is the way you had to do it. You must have come up with this.
Over 200 episodes already. People for years asked me to do an entertainment lifestyle talk show series because of all my work I've done in television and radio over a long time, as an on-air host and personality and all those different things I've done. So back in like late April and May, I said, you know what, while I'm here, why don't I, do something? Why don't I make use and build and create something in addition to the work I do in television and radio? And I do have the ability with the home studio to do radio shows out of the house and other things out of the house. We're not necessarily on location with the television shoots and the television work as much as I normally would be. I was supposed to be in Texas, Florida, Ireland this year on TV productions, and that obviously isn't happening as well. So a lot of it, the radio shows, as well as writing scripts and some other television work. Where I was in the PBS studio last week, we were working on a public television special that was up in Hartford, Connecticut, but all social distanced. I was on one side of the studio. My co-host, she was way on the other side of the studio, and then they did a split screen, masks on, and then when we spoke, masks off, and then masks right back on. And so yeah, people for years said, Jim, you should do this. And so I did, and I brought in the television lights, and using some of my TV background. Our set's nice, all holiday festive here and everything, and do this every single day live, 7 days a week since last April, and balancing it with my professional work. And this weekend we've been doing 2 shows. We did 2 live shows Friday, 2 Saturday, and we had one earlier today, and now you're here as well. And a lot of work, but I'm loving it because I get a chance to I'm directing the ship. You know what I mean? It's a reflection, whatever anybody's getting out of this series. And I hear so many people, the guests, the viewers from all around the world, are saying we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. They feel the warmth, the levity, the loveity, as we say. And whatever people are getting out of it, what I'm loving about it is there's nobody in my ear telling me what to say, how to say it, what to do, where to go, because I've done all that in various ways, shapes, and forms in my industry and still do. But this, the buck stops here. So how the show is presented, how it looks, what we talk about, just the whole vibe and this feeling that people seem to be attracted to, which I love, is really a reflection fully of me, not of me and the network or me and that station or me and that production over there. It's totally the Jim Master show.
And I also felt it was no coincidence. I'm saying that you began during this period where it becomes an important way of communicating.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, I'm changing into my costume for this song.
Oh.
In a way. But I was just going to say that I was going to do a song for you guys from a show called a Review, meaning, separate songs. It was called Pets. So every song was about pets. Isn't that just too terrible? No, but they were really funny songs. And our song with a wonderful lyricist I worked with, I must say her name, June Siegel, brilliant woman. Was the assignment was we ended up writing about a Romanian man. It was a woman, but in my case, it's a man, a Romanian immigrant, new in this country, and he takes an entry-level job of walking people's dogs, not just one, but 10 at a time. You see these people on the streets.
Is that not amazing how they do that? They should do a documentary on the people that can have, 5 or 6 on one arm and another 5 or 6 on the other, and keep who's leading who. That's what I always wonder. But to keep them all, and it's just, they should be a part of Cirque du Soleil. They're like acrobats, those folks.
Well, I'll sing the song about it, but I'm going to let our man tell you the story.
Okay. Jimmy Roberts, live.
I come here from Romania, speak no English, have no job. So first thing I am doing is to drive the taxi cab. But the passengers get crazy from the places I don't know. So I'm finding clientele who not so fussy where they go. I walk the dogs, pick up the poop, and put it in the paper with my little pooper scoop. I walk the dogs at 10:30. I take the peck of pooches through the park and back again. There's Bootsy and Snoopy and Suki and Sasha, Geraldo, Madonna, Picasso, Natasha. There's Marvin, the master who likes people's feet, and Mrs. Margolis' Shih Tzu in heat. There's Doug from Alaska, Tibet, and Britannia. But they're not obeying like Doug from Romania. Stop that, Sasha. She's your sister. Watch it, Wolfgang. Sorry, mister. Heel, Titania. That's fantastic. Bootsy not to eat the plastic. Potolici vavoi drach mitite. I walk the dogs at 1:30. The Yorkie, she is squatting while the greyhounds start to run. I walk the dogs. I see the town, but from peculiar angles, since I'm mostly looking down at Hannibal, Udall, and Bowser, and Cleaver, and Rocky the boxer, and Prince the retriever. Bowser fall into the puddle he jumped. Hannibal stop at the hydrant to hump. Prince have a crush on the Airedale named Bobby. And Blaine, the Great Dane, make a stain in the lobby. Hold it, Cleaver. Back up, Udall. That's a pit bull, not a poodle. Rocky, not to sniff the ladies. Bowser, not the white Mercedes. Merge macassa. Scoopy May. I walk the dogs. I bring them back. Then somehow I am lonely for that wild and crazy pack. The business grows, is enterprise. And someday I am citizen with house like big shot guys. And after work, I'm not alone. At home besides the fire will be Puppy all my own. Ah, for someone else to walk. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Potolitsiva voi drachmitite, no? Scusi me.
What he said.
Obviously, I had to learn Romanian to do that song.
Yes, you did. And Judy says, yes, I walk the dogs. My bliss is complete.
You walk dogs, good.
I like that. I just like that. There's something about that sentence that strikes me as terrific. My bliss is complete. It sounds like the title of a book, a movie.
It does.
A Lifetime movie, maybe, or something on Broadway. My bliss is complete. Something about that. Kathleen says, funny and claps and smiling and Wozniak, so much fun. For those of you learning about Jimmy for the first time, you might have thought that he was going to be sitting there in a tuxedo and he was going to like, good evening, everybody. There's this whole comedic side to Jimmy. That's why he uses Jimmy as opposed to his birth name, James, because he's Jimmy.
I guess so.
Linda's loving it. And Ellen.
I hope so. I hope I didn't disappoint anybody.
Are you kidding me?
By doing funny, you know.
No, everybody's loving it. Ellen goes, woof.
Well, Ellen's a dog lover. We know
That's
that.
it. Anita,
and so is Anita.
Barbara, thank you. And Colleen and Anne and Eve goes, wow. Love that. Really cool. Very, very nice to see all these terrific comments. And Robin had this comment earlier. I was completely both uplifted and brokenhearted at the same time as I am again. The combination of masterpiece.
Oh, thank you, Robin.
Hit into all the different.
Thank you, Robin Newman, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful to have everybody here. You have something else you want to share with us, right? Since we're rolling here.
Yes.
We didn't see the keys that time. I don't know if you wanted to.
I know. I can, because I thought I was concentrating more on my Romanian man.
Right. It was better to see you because of the expressions. And Roseben Flute says, loved it.
Oh, thank you.
June now wants a dog. Everybody's going to be running to the pound tomorrow, to the shelter.
I thought they'd want to learn Romanian. Well,
that's all of the above.
Maybe I would. I may hope I'll get the words, but I have thought I could show you a song from the show Welcome to the Big Dipper. Another song from it.
Oh, that would be fantastic! Absolutely. You've earned that. You've earned that, Swig. Do you have anybody there that's refilling your glass?
No, but I'm portioning it. But among the people at the Big Dipper Inn are the Amish, and among the Amish is a teenage girl, Rebecca, a rebellious girl who's looking for an identity, maybe outside the Amish way of life, or she's trying to figure it out anyway. And one thing she's obsessed with, and it's funny that they're upstate New York, is Niagara Falls. It's almost, she wants to go there. Her mother, who had died, felt the same way about the falls. They felt they could see the face of God there. It just meant something to them. So Rebecca is so close to the falls now. She's in Bigelow, New York at the inn, and she actually finds a way to sneak out of the hotel in lake effect snow and get there. But not only is she obsessed with the falls, she's obsessed with Annie Edson Taylor. Did you ever hear that name? Mm-hmm. Probably not. Annie Edson Taylor in 1901 was the first person, oh, you know it, Jim. She went over the Niagara Falls in a barrel and survived. She was like the Evel Knievel of her day. She was 63 years old when she did this. Everybody else who had tried it had passed away, had not made it. She had a special barrel, and she stood beside it in the photograph in her black Victorian dress and her barrel, and she made it across. And our lead character, Rebecca, the Amish teenager, is obsessed with Annie Edson Taylor too. And our song is called Over the Falls. And it's almost as if she's looking at that famous, iconic poster of Annie Edson Taylor, Victorian woman standing by her barrel.
Okay.
It seems to mean something to her.
Here's Jimmy Roberts.
Over the falls, why would you go? Over the falls, I long to know. What spirit inspired you? What fantasy fired you and burned so bright? With courage to spare, you set off on a dare in the morning light, convinced you were right to go over the falls, secretly scheming over the falls, risking and dreaming, whispering words to hold back your fear, to steady your heart when the moment grew near, to climb into your barrel and fly. How can I fly? Over the falls, right on the brink now, loudly it calls, no time to think now. You float past the railing, and soon you are sailing into the air, falling through space as your pulse starts to race, till you're almost there. In less than a minute, you're over the falls. Over the falls, swiftly arriving. Over the falls, proudly surviving. Learning to laugh when the world says you're odd. Turning your face toward the eye of God. Say a prayer, take a deep breath, and fly. Send me your fire, and whatever I do, I'll live my life with visions of you. Over the falls.
That's pristine. That is pristine, my friend. That really is. What I love is watching you too, because you take on, you just absorb it all. It's like going through the full essence of you. It's really impeccable. And I want to show some of the levity comments coming in here from our viewers, or our levity viewers. Brilliant lyrics and song, very nice. And Kathleen Walker, lots of claps, and amazing from Linda Odell, and beautiful from Jill, and Robin Shaw as well too. You make us feel less sad, which I think is beautiful.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, and Ann Wozniak says so beautiful as well.
Oh, I'm so glad. Maybe they're interested in seeing the show. That's just one aspect of it. The Amish, the Falls, the cross-dressers, the African Americans, and a
Yeah.
great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
poem about actors. I thought maybe whenever you're ready.
No. I'm just looking at these amazing comments coming in here, and I think
Oh,
it's they're pouring in. It's really amazing. Definitely, I want to hear the poem.
No, take your time.
Nicely done, Jimmy from Merlin in Canada as well. And then, yeah, maybe also you have something holiday oriented too. Maybe you could play, since it's the holidays. Some of our guests have been throwing in a holiday this or that, whatever it might be. You're thinking. I love that. Look at his expression. He's thinking. I saw
I'm
wheels
very
turning. That's deep thought. I love that. You were like,
I know. Well, I was trying to think if I had anything, beyond. I just know all the holiday songs. I don't have my own. Some people write some beautiful songs about, my friends, new songs about Christmas. I wish I had one. Even Christmas in time of COVID and what that's like, that
yeah,
can make a very touching song. I have
yeah.
a friend, David Friedman, who wrote one. I forget.
Oh, yeah, David and
I think it's
Sean.
called "I Won't Be Seeing You This Christmas."
David Friedman's a dear friend of mine, David and Sean.
Oh,
Yeah.
David and Sean, right? Then you check out this song of his. I won't be
Oh,
seeing you. I think
yeah. Oh, and he also has "We Can Be Kind."
I know.
We Can Be Kind, and he resurrected that whole Nancy Lamont collection, which, of course,
Right.
Nancy Lamont. Yeah, he's David has got, and he does the Thought Exchange. Yeah, we're great friends. It's a very small world, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And June is part of that, and absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to share something maybe on the piano? It could be any song. Could
Well,
it
how
be
about in that case?
one of the traditional
Well,
carols?
why don't we how about ask the audience what one they'd like? And I usually.
All right, audience, lovely viewers, which of the holiday carols would you like Jimmy's taking requests live here on the show. Which holiday carol, Christmas carol, would you like him to tickle the ivories with right now? Post it on our YouTube or Facebook page. We can see all the comments coming in. And then as soon as you post something, we will then do it, whatever that song may be.
I'll play my chimes until then. My imitation chimes. Watch this.
La, 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 la. That's one of my ultimate favorite Christmas songs, "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." It's just such a beautiful, beautiful melody. So that he treated you with, folks, that was a surprise. They're asking "Oh Holy Night."
Mm.
Where can I get the CD that has that on it? Wow. Absolutely beautiful interpretation of a stunning, stunning Christmas song. We have actually several requests for Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Mm.
Just letting that soak in. That is so incredible, my friend. Really beautiful. They're requesting quite a few chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Bravo, bravo. Beautifully, beautifully done, my friend. Rose Ben Flute said, a Hanukkah song.
I knew that. Rock of Ages. I got it. I know that.
Another one came in for I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. Of course, a little Irving Berlin.
Oh, wow.
That's another beautiful one, huh?
Like in Bing's Key.
Ba, 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 ba. Dreaming of a White Christmas.
May your days be merry and bright, and may
And may all
your
your
Christmas
Christmases
be white. That's the snow falling.
Snow falling. Really,
By the great, the Jewish composer Irving Berlin wrote the great Christmas song and the great Easter song. They always talk about that.
They want you to sing. Anita says,
I
"Can you
know.
sing?"
I know.
I like that. We just sang along, which was really, really nice. Both Jims singing. June's getting very sentimental now. How about, some of the ones that we've been playing, you don't hear as much on the radio. You hear, Grandma Got Run Over by the Reindeer and all that other, but you're not hearing some of the traditional Silver Bells. Mm.
Good evening. Now,
Yeah. Somebody,
she said she needed Christmas music, but I am a Jewish boy from Great Neck, so I was
and you're very
had fun.
talented. Well, a lot of course, I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, Irving Berlin. There's a lot of songs that have been written by Jewish composers that are very well-known, beautiful Christmas hymns. Anita has mentioned a couple of times the French one. Is there a French?
It's not a Christmas song.
You want to share that?
It'd be my plaisir de vous partager la chanson française. It is a little song. It is from World War II. And it is called Take Back Your Stocking, American GI. Or Chocolat, a Chocolat. It make me break out. Parlez-vous français, chanson Paris, filet mignon, n'est-ce pas? Mon ami, chaise longue, café à crème, escargot, yum yum, pourquoi? Beaujolais, décor, Chevrolet coupé. Merci, Madame Pompidou. Jean Cocteau tout de suite, mon Dieu, potpourri. Ah, that's a nice ragout. À la mode, à la carte, vive la France, bon appétit, la guerre. Crêpes Suzette, Lafayette, pardonnez-moi, c'est la vie, vin ordinaire. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Coup de grâce, go Moselon, Maurice Chevalier, quel bœuf! Versailles enchanté, la plume de ma tante, Chateaubriand, c'est tough. Liberté, égalité, fraternité, faut pas à Coco Chanel. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? No bidet in the hotel. Coco vin immédiatement. Arc de triomphe, mon plaisir, Champs-Élysées. Couturier, c'est non. Merde, dans le chapeau. J'accuse. Jacqueline Bouvier. Merci.
Very beautifully done. And you're getting that from Merlin in Canada and June in New York. And thank you. Anita was the one that asked for it.
You see, they're saying oui, oui. Your audience is going French on you, Jim.
I tell you, they are. Absolutely. And yes, from Gillian Rose as well. I wonder if it's the same Gillian Rose that I know from PBS.
She's a color person.
Very, very colorful.
That's why she's involved with the art of color too, I believe.
Very, very nice. Beautiful. Nice having you here, Gillian. Great from Kathleen Walker.
Great. Merci, Kathleen. Merci, Anita.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
It's the levity is amazing.
You know.
Carolyn says, did Jimmy say he wrote a Christmas poem?
Oh, no, it was an actor poem.
That's right. Exactly. XOXOXO from Gillian Rose. Nice to see you, Gillian. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. So wonderful to have you here. Happy holidays to everybody watching from all around the world, all the viewers who are, if you're new to our show, if you're a viewer, you're now one of our levities. A wonderful way to spend this evening. Thank you, Jimmy, for sharing your talent and your passion with us from Jill Jason. Tell us, share with us that poem. And when did you, I mean, songwriting is very much poetic as well, but tell me when you
discovered poetry? No, I mean,
I love that. Yeah.
It was rude, sorry.
No, are you left-handed or right?
Left.
Me too. I can tell the
Jim.
dominant. Yeah. See, Long
Both
Island,
Jim, Long
left-handed.
Island, left-handed.
That's it. That's it. I like I like mustard on a good Knish.
I have a song about that too.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
Um,
but I
so-
didn't mean to tempt you. It's your
What-
show. Sorry.
what, no, you throw it in. Absolutely. What inspired you to have a real interest in poetry and start writing it and sharing it with the world?
Thank you again, Jim. You know, it's again like everything. There was an origin, and I have to say, it was much later in life, not when I was growing up, and it was because I think poetry finds you. You know, when you need it. It's that type of very special thing, poetry, whichever type you like. But for me, it found me after a loss in my family of a younger brother.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only thing that that understands you or can express what can't be expressed is poetry, not prose. To me, you know, it wasn't even songs. I really just want, to me, I hear music when I just hear the words. I don't need, I love the spaces between the words. Even on the page, when you see a poem, it obviously doesn't take up the whole page like usually, like a prose piece of, like a novel might, you know?
Exactly.
Each word has to be, each word counts for so much. And I discovered poetry then, and somehow it filled that need. You know, I think the first book I bought was about a person who lost somebody in their life, a great poet. His name was Donald Hall. He died recently, but so I got all his books and I met him once or twice. And, you know, it fulfilled a need. So that was the need to read poetry. And writing was just kind of taking a shot when I I was able to join a poetry group. And I found out that I had some kind of talent for words too. I don't, you know, boy, when you read a great poem, you just go, oh, how do they do it? I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I learn, and I'm with a group that meets every week. So we collaborate, you might say, and criticize each other and try to get better.
That's fantastic. Did you want to share that poem with us?
Yeah,
I just happen to have here.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I did get. I have one. I know you like positive ones, and I have two. One it's a very positive thing to say that I felt. So I called it New York and the Kindness of Strangers. The guy who sees me struggling with an unwieldy box in front of Macy's, who sprints up, lifts the box, hails a cab, hauls the box into the trunk. Thanks, reaching for my wallet. Can I give you something? A tip? Almost annoyed. Hey man, we're New Yorkers. We help each other. As he disappears into the swirl of rush hour. 2. Lincoln Center after Candide. The star, generous of spirit, greets a shy 14-year-old I've coaxed into the dressing room. Who is this beauty? The girl looks down, embarrassed. Come on now, tell me about yourself. In a quivery voice, it all rushes out. She loves theater. Candide is her favorite. She dreams of going to acting camp. The star gets up, hugs her. Yes, you must. I have a very good feeling about you. The girl, clutching her playbill, floats down the stairs into the night.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah. You're amazing with that. How often do you get a chance to write poetry? And during everything, you know, this year, have you been inspired to write more? Have you been writing more?
Yes. Yeah, and I have to write one almost every week with this group too.
Oh, you do? So
Yeah,
it's a weekly requirement.
Yeah, of course, we all have our COVID poems, among other things. And
what are those like? What is a COVID poem like?
I mean, you know, I think everybody will relate. I called it, it goes back a few months though. I think everybody will relate to that. I call it My Day. My Day. Long night, no sleep. What day is it? New York Times on your doorstep. Pick it up with a tissue. Spray it first. You're out of coffee. So put the mask and the gloves on and, sir, you need to stand behind that white line, 6 feet from that man. You don't want to catch what he have. He don't want to catch what you have. Back home, switch on the TV. Watch the governor explain death. Tens of thousands, each one a face someone loved. You feel paralyzed, obsessed with not knowing. So put on the mask and gloves and, doctor at urgent care, how can we help you? You, I'd like to have a COVID test. Why? Have you been exposed? Any symptoms? Well, I felt ill 2 months ago, low-grade fever, light cough. 2 months ago? Why are you here now? Just worried. Any shortness of breath? No. Vomiting or diarrhea? Lack of taste or smell? No, but okay, tell you what, we'll draw blood, give you an antibody test. Results in a few days. Back home, time, too much time to think, to remember. Try to put it all together, make sense of your wife. Your wife? You mean your life? What's that about? Try to read. It's no good. Switch on the TV and look, Dr. Fauci is not the be all and end all. It's not up to him to tell us when to restart business. He says, trust the numbers, trust the numbers. Well, how can we trust the goddamn numbers when they keep changing? Are there risks? Sure, but we're Americans. We take risks. Switch it off. Enough. Instead, you nap, disinfect the groceries, make dinner, pour a stiff drink. Then close your eyes. Till tomorrow.
You summed that up exactly. You really summed it up. It's exactly what it's like. And Linda says, I so love poetry. Thank you for sharing your poetry, Jimmy. It really,
So do I.
Merlin is even in Canada saying, sounds like movie lines. I mean, lines
Right.
that you.
A dialogue, yeah.
Yeah, it really, really does. Asking also, who is your favorite poet? Do you have some that?
No, I can't. I don't think I have one. I grow and I change, and I used to love Donald Hall. I think I just love for all time Walt Whitman, who wrote in the 1880s and as if he were speaking to us today. And he writes a lot about the future. He says, people reading this 100 years from now will be still walking across the Brooklyn Bridge or something. It's like he saw.
Yeah,
so
right.
We have Walt Whitman didn't write rhymey poems either. I mean, he wrote, free verse in the 1880s. That's pretty unusual. And Emily Dickinson did too, by the way.
Yes, so very true. Kathy in Cleveland is saying, and Jill's saying your first two poems, The Power of a Kind Gesture, or a few kind words that can make a difference. We've been talking about that a lot of this on this series, the Jim Master Show Live, that I talk about how I hope that we rise from the ashes of all of this better. I know people say they want to return to some sense of normal. I'm hoping we actually achieve and attain better because, and I've said this several times on the show with the guests, we were sort of social distancing before we had to social distance for the sake of our own health and that of those we care about. Because prior to all of this, our heads were pretty much stuck in the cell phones constantly. Everybody's stuck on social media, watching what everybody else is doing. And we were already social distancing. And then also people were always saying things like, gee, what's happening? Civility, respect, kindness, friendliness, warmth, thank you, please, you're welcome. All of that was going by the wayside. And everybody was complaining about it, but nothing was changing. And now all of a sudden, I've said this, it just feels like there was a meeting of the minds between a divine, the earth, and Mother Nature coming together and saying, you know what, I don't like the direction that these humans are going in. We gave them all these gifts of this planet, of nature, of life. And they're really fouling it up. And they're tearing each other apart. They're at each other's throats. There's road rage, there's shootings, there's divisiveness, there's hatred, there's all of this going on. And everybody's saying they don't like it, but it's all happening around us. So 2020 is a good round number, 2020. We're not going to do it in 2019. We won't do it maybe 2030 or 2031. We're going to do it in 2020 because people look to the start of a new decade for hope and excitement. It's the start of the new decade. This is when we're going to throw it in. And we're going to throw in all these different major things that have happened. Because if you think about it, the health pandemic situation, COVID and all, is global. The economic is another thing. The civil unrest, an election, all these things that any one of those are monumental in our lives. We're going to throw them all in at the same time and see how people deal with it. And what's going to happen? Are they going to come together? Are they going to be divisive? So we've seen the worst of the worst in people, and we're seeing the best of the best in people. And we'll see where it goes from there. So my hope is that, and I think, again, we were given this opportunity that is really extraordinary. It's horrific what's happening. It's scary what's happening. It's unreal what's happening. It's sad what's happening. It's frustrating what's happening. But at the same time, I think there is a way for those who want there to be a way, because it's all up to us. Whatever happens after all of this is up to us. You know, there might be things that help us medically, but how are we going to change as people, and how are we going to come together? I mean, our health might be sort of protected, but if we're still arguing and screaming and yelling and fighting and all the stuff that's going on, you know, it's just not a healthy society or a healthy world. So I'm hoping that we rise out of all of this more loving, more empathetic, more collaborative, more creative, less divisive. We actually listen to one another. We're not always yelling and shouting and only projecting. We're projecting and listening and sort of bringing, like I mentioned to you earlier, how do you, when you're working on a show and production, bringing in all these ideas and all these people, and how do you make that cohesive, stay true to whatever the message is, but how do you get where everybody at the table has an opportunity to participate? Because that the world wants to spin on its axis in a way where things are sort of balanced and harmonious. And I'm a darn Libra, so we crave balance and harmony as a Libra. That's the thing we crave. So I think that kindness is not Pollyanna. I often say that the people who are, what's the word, the good maybe, or the kind or the friendly people, who are oftentimes sort of rendered the vulnerable or the weak, or then they're not the strong ones. The strong ones are the ones who are like, I don't care, that doesn't affect me. You know, I think that the ones that are the strongest are the ones that are the kind, that are the good, that are the friendly, that want to come together, because they carry the weight of the world on them, trying to do that, to share goodness and kindness and inspiration. Doesn't make them vulnerable or weak. That's not an old-fashioned thing. I was watching this really old clip of Jackie Gleason, and he was talking to this Catholic priest. It's on YouTube, and it popped up on my TV last night. And he's sitting in this black and white, and I think it's from the 50s, or it's probably from the 50s. And Jackie Gleason was actually talking about some of what I'm talking about now. And he was complaining back in the 50s. He was talking about how sometimes, you know, the human condition gets torn apart a little bit because we don't realize, or we forget that we all need each other, and that, you know, generosity is a wonderfully graceful thing to share. And whether it's through our talents like yours, through anything I do, or anybody that's watching that does something, I really think if you can lift somebody's spirits, if you can show that you care, if you can care about, you have to love yourself too. You have to realize you have self-worth and value as well. But if you can inspire people through your skill and your talent, but also just inspire people because you want to. Share a smile, lend a kind word. I think that really goes a long way. And I think that this situation that we've been all collectively and equally dealing with, it's affected some people more than others where there has been significant loss. I think that there are people out there who really want to not necessarily go back to normal, because normal wasn't that hot, better in a way where we all grow from this, because they're going to be talking about this in perpetuity in the history books, what we've gone through. But I'm hoping that I see a lot of people even doing this show with my work in television radio, sort of an outgrowth of that desire to reach people that way, with the years of television and radio coming together back in April, May, turning this into the Jim Master Show Live. And I think that we have a significant and beautiful opportunity here through everything we're witnessing. You turn on the news and the world is ending every 5 minutes, it seems. There's a way to hopefully come out of this richer for it as a people, as really understanding the human condition and respecting and loving one another more. That's what it's all about. I mean, the divisiveness, the hatred, no matter what side of the fence. And I've always been a middle person. I'm very middle. I'm not extreme in any way. I mean, my favorite color is green and my favorite ice cream is vanilla. I mean, so I'm not I'm not as extreme. The extremes here, the extremes there, and anything in life, I'm always looking for ways to bring those extremes together. Okay, you have yours, you have yours. Let's see if we can bring it together, and maybe we can take some of that and create this. And
Right.
you do that with the work that you do. And I just hope that we rise out of the ashes in a more positive, loving, kind way. Life is short, and as we've seen, it can end in a New York minute. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, and what we do with our lives truly matters. And so that's my take on it.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Oh yeah, no. You made me think of the model of people collaborating on a show. I mean, there have been some notoriously bad collaborations, but generally, um, that's an example of where people are different and have to cooperate because they each bring something, and they have to listen to each other too. You have to listen to your collaborator's idea, and you have to listen to things you don't agree with and tolerate it at first without destroying the moment and destroying your collaboration and your friendship. So I thought that's almost a model for how people who disagree can still collaborate in a way and cooperate.
Absolutely.
And the two incidents in the poem that I mentioned are, really happened. I mean, a man just came out of nowhere and helped me with a box. I never saw him again. He did everything I couldn't do myself. And I was so moved when this Broadway star, just no ego, just totally focused on this young woman and made her feel like a million.
That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what it's all about. The collaborative whole could be greater than the sum of its parts. I agree. Kind words go a long way, but so does just a smile. Let's see this time as a portal to transformation for good, for kindness, for community. Spot on, Jim. Well said. Bravo. Thank you very much. Vulnerability equals strength. Very, very true. Another song that they have been asking for that I think is sort of a beautiful transition, maybe, is Silent Night.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have been asking for it.
Yeah, they've been asking actually for a lot, but that one came up quite a bit, and I think that's just a beautiful segue here. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Gorgeously done. Gorgeously done. Was there another song that you had in mind too that you wanted to share? Because I know there were a couple that you had put together that you wanted to share with our levity audience here on the show.
I had one that I hadn't prepared because it's in the spirit of what you were saying. It was written for children that I wrote with somebody, but I don't recall the words enough. That's the hard part. But I do have one that's both bittersweet and hopeful. And it was written by a woman lyricist who heard of a story of a woman she met who had given lodging to a fireman, volunteered, came from another state here on September 11th.
Mm.
She put him up. It was the type of thing that happened. And in this case, next thing you know, I mean, whatever, it became a marriage. It became a love out of these ashes, you might say.
Mm.
And the woman in the song recalls the whole thing. And may I do that song? Called An Ordinary Morning.
An Ordinary Morning. Beautiful.
When the summer is barely over and the trees are still leafy and green, when the city all around comes awake with light and sound, my heart recalls a different scene. An ordinary morning, clear September blue, stirs a vivid memory, one I share with you. That ordinary morning changed before our eyes. Two strangers drawn together under smoldering skies. What were the chances that we'd find each other? Was it luck or some mystic design? Now those memories around us soften the sorrow words cannot define. That ordinary morning never disappears. Questions without answers linger through the years. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ah, ah, ah. What were the chances I'd have you forever? And this life we could never foresee. As the dark days around us, love somehow found us. Fate was kind. Fate was kind. Fate gave you to me. one ordinary morning.
That is absolutely fantastic. That's really, really beautiful. When you play that and when you sing that, Jimmy, what's running through your mind? What are you feeling?
Well, first, I wanted to say that the woman who wrote those words is named Wilma Klassen, and she did a great job. And she heard the story. What runs through my mind is just everything. I just felt a little overwhelmed by it when I play it, because it's about something so heavy that really words can't define it. So, I mean, we're just trying here. And it's such an example of something that's both totally happy in a way for this couple, but just totally blended with the tragedy under which they met. And I'm feeling all that when I'm singing it. And, you know, it has the ironic words, an ordinary morning. Yeah, sure. Started out that way.
It was a beautiful September day, sunny, beautiful
Right, we all remember.
skies,
Yeah.
blue skies and puffy clouds. Absolutely. Geraldine says beautiful as well, and Merlin says bravo, and
Thank you, Jerry.
and loving it, Robin as well. What are some of the things that continue to inspire you and bring you great joy and blessing in your life and in your career and everything that comes together for you, Jimmy?
I feel in love with not even so much music, words. I get the greatest pleasure from words that are used well. And the poetry I mentioned, literary journals, novels, and editorial. Sometimes these things bring me to tears too. And secondly, I know these are general, but these are the things that gives me pleasure. People speaking well, so writing well, and then if somebody has something to say and they say it elegantly and beautifully, I'm like, it's like a great meal. I just feel so satisfied. That's it for me. I have very, very few needs.
But very, very beautiful ones. And I love that too. When I'm hearing a conversation or I'm hearing dialogue or even participating in it, where the articulation, the inflection, and what is being said and how they're saying it, because speaking can be very melodic as well, as of course you know. And there's something about when you're listening to people speak in a way that draws you in, just in the way that they're, you know, speaking, just in the way that they're inflecting and articulating and emphasizing. But when it's a conversation that is intelligent, but also has a relatability to it as well, that is, and I like the way you described it, it is like a meal. You're being fed. You're being fed, right?
Right. And if you saw remember records? I had
Sure.
I used to go into the dusty bins in the back of a record store where they had spoken records, because that was music to me, the spoken word. And I even would collect political speeches and I'd even imitate them. And it led to a funny, quick story of me at Los Angeles airport imitating one of our presidents from the New Deal days. Well, the president, Franklin Roosevelt. So I'm waiting for my bags and this could call for glasses. It is my firm conviction that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed action to convert retreat into advance.
I love that.
And I was doing that out loud.
Multi-talented.
Like
you were doing it out
I was
loud.
doing this, Jim, yes. And an old gentleman approaches me at the baggage carousel and says, "Young man," I was like in my 20s, "how do you know how President Roosevelt spoke?" And I said, "Well, gee, I buy records of speeches. I just love it. And he had such good timing. He was wonderful." He goes, "Well, you're very good too. Are you a professional mimic?" And I said, "No, I'm just a guy who likes speeches." He goes, "Well, I just think it's marvelous. What's your name?" I said, I'm Jimmy Roosevelt. What's your name? He goes, oh no, I said I'm Jimmy Roberts. I ruined the story. He said, I'm
I said
James
Jimmy
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
It's funny. He was Jimmy Roosevelt. He was my namesake. I was named after him, and he's the president's son. And he was, by coincidence, standing next to me at baggage claims at LA airport while I was reciting that speech of his father's.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
What was amazing, it looked like the piano kept playing after you took your hands away. How'd that happen?
Yeah, in the hotel business, you learn how to do that so you can drink.
You just drop a quarter in and it starts playing, or do you have to wind it? You have to crank it?
You just don't look at it, you know.
They did mention the impressions. Do you have another one you could share that comes to
Oh,
mind?
geez. Oh, I think beyond Roosevelt, I don't know. I don't really do it professionally like that. I just I imitate my friends, but no, I can't come up with something. I'm so sorry, Jim.
You're able to, so you can do your friends?
Yeah, you know, I just can't think of anything now that you have universal feeling here. You know, and
Is there one more song that you had up your sleeve that you wanted to share with us before we get ready to wrap up? Something
sure.
that
Okay.
everybody, the comments this evening have been fantastic, and
Thank you, Jim.
and when we
Can
come
you
back
hear-
from when we come
Go
back
ahead.
from that, we can talk about ways that people can find out more about your work and things that are upcoming, which would be great.
Can you hear me pretty well still? I feel like one of these ear things went out, but can you hear me
we
well?
can hear. Yeah, we can hear you well. Absolutely. And I don't know if you want the camera to capture the keys at all. It's capturing just you, which is perfectly
I'll do
fine.
both.
There you go.
Can you see it? Yeah. I want to do a song from that show. I've spoken so much about it. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change.
Yes.
And this song happens deep into Act 2. It's kind of the more mature part of the show. But a husband and wife emerge from their bedroom, let's say, in their bathrobes. It's breakfast time, and they go through their breakfast rituals. She pours his coffee, he pours hers. They're kind of silent. Maybe something's wrong, you don't know. Maybe not. They sit down, and they both pick up their sections of the newspaper, also silent. Then he, not seen by her, looks at her, and he's thinking something.
Okay.
The experts say it does not last. The experts say it's fleeting. The experts bray love fades so fast. So tell me, why is my heart still beating? Shouldn't I be less in love with you? Shouldn't I address what time can do? Shouldn't I be more inclined?
I think your mic got, yeah, your mic. I think the mic muted itself. Can anybody read lips? Welcome to the world of Wi-Fi and internet. It happens. It even happens on the TV networks. It looks like the mic itself is muted. Sometimes, yeah, and it's something that you have to unmute. It says, cannot unmute your guest. Their mic is not connected. Yeah, no, Linda, it's not that the mic is down. It's that the mic sort of muted itself. His computer muted his mic. He looks so serious in this shot, almost very Alfred Hitchcock or something. It's like, because you just because you can see when you look at the screen, you see Jimmy Roberts and see the little microphone image that's next to your name, and there's a cross through it. That means the mic is muted on your end. Gets an unmuting. He has to unmute. Yeah. Hopefully he can sing it again. The mic is the mic is so Christine Clifton in North Carolina says hopefully he can sing that song again. You know what we do while he's figuring that out? We do actually have a video which we can show, and then we'll hopefully be able to talk about it when we come back. It's probably something on your computer. It's probably really something basic, simple. It happens to people. The mic just got muted. Let's show this clip. We have this quick clip here that we can show while he's figuring that out, and then we'll come back.
是鬼蛋，完全就你喜好口味。
咁呢部啊？唔知啊，你話咧？
起彩！
諗起心都震，諗起有情人，得咗可相襯，衰咗即刻問。
願你今夜來愛我，
缺陷太多，
我驚他今歸世，喜歡潔淨，清幽恬靜，
嘴嘴我有情，乜都聽命。
心喜乖乖女，單身好夠累，
完全明白我睇緊一出乜嘢，同視片實在太邪。
出去外面又放狗，買粒肥牛同老抽，花咗一天努力實行要自由。
在擔心，留住愛實是否可能？其實難情高，甜蜜氣流做得好。在擔心，留住愛實是否可能？但我最擔心
男人同女人 ，Showtime！
等不等到你單身太乏味。
That's I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. And to see it overseas in that capacity, that clip, which they sent along, is really, really cool. Jimmy's figuring out the mic there. There must be some sort of a setting of some sort that... yeah, you look like a scientist. You did
I'm
it.
good.
You just did it. What?
I think this is just the symptom of our, times,
Yeah.
all these crazy.
Was there a button that you touched?
technologies.
Because whatever it is, write it down so you know.
Yeah. They're
That-
right in front of me, sorry. But I'm
yeah.
so glad. And what you played was the trailer for the Chinese movie of I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, because dating is the same all over the world, I guess.
That's amazing. So now tell us about that. I mean, it's happened over there in China. How did that come to pass? That's a cool clip.
Yes. Well, it's played in many countries, by the way, and I have a poster right behind me that says Je t'aime, tu es parfait, change. That was from the French version of I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. But in China, in Hong Kong, it had been done on the stage, and there's a particular very talented director and actor named Cho Lam who decided he wanted to make a big film on location and all kinds of scenery and about, like it looked like Bollywood. It's a 4-person off-Broadway show, but hundreds of people are dancing in the background.
I know.
It's very well done.
Anne says the movie looks so much fun. Anne in Southern California. Linda says,
does.
welcome back, Jimmy.
Thank you, Linda.
And of
God.
course, definitely a huge film musical for sure. Did Christine says she hopes that you can sing that song you were singing before the sound just sort of floated away into the ocean.
Okay. I was singing a song that I forget where we were, but I said a husband and wife are coming to breakfast in their
And
room.
that was about it. And then it went down from there. Yeah.
And they were silent and they pour each other's coffee, no conversation. It could be just their ritual that you don't know. And then they each pick up a section of the paper, and he puts his down. She doesn't see it. He looks at her and thinks these thoughts. The experts say it does not last. The experts say it's fleeting. The experts pray love fades so fast. So tell me, why is my heart still beating? Shouldn't I be less in love with you? Shouldn't I address what time can do? Shouldn't I be more inclined to flee? Shouldn't I explore all I can be? Shouldn't I confess a sordid flaw? Shouldn't I caress a cute young thing? Shouldn't I assess what we've been through? Shouldn't I be less in love with you? After 30 years together, all those brutal fights, those futile fights, then the sleepless nights. Shouldn't I have quit 'cause marriage ends? Shouldn't we have split like all our friends? Shouldn't I profess it's time to go? Shouldn't I be less in love with you?
That's very beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. You know, your take on things really comes from the soul and it comes from the heart, Jimmy. And you really are a multifaceted, multi-talented individual. And it's obvious that you really soak up life, don't you? You soak up all those little nuances and essences of life, and you like to interpret it and then share it through your talent, multi-talent, in such a beautiful way. And it's so a blessing that you're, here sharing it with all of us here on the show. And I hope that the show met whatever expectations that you had of it, and that it, because I know you've watched episodes, and I definitely hope that you will come back, because the door will always be open. The porch light will always be on. And I hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you, Jimmy.
Your masters, thank you for giving me enough time to explore the various things I love to do and just talk about what I love to do, rushing, and it was a wonderful experience.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. If people want to find out more and they want to explore more, is there a website? Are there places that they can go, Jimmy?
I should have a website, but I don't. Our show, Welcome to the Big Dipper, will have one soon. And we're waiting for that beautiful painting that's going to be the anchor of our website. And maybe I'll have one of my own. And also, often I'm a lot on Facebook, and I show my poems and tell about things. So that's a good place to reach me too.
Is there any words or any message or anything you'd like to leave for our levity audience, especially now of this time of Hanukkah and Christmas and the ending of this year and the hope for the new year?
I was trying to think of the chorus of this song I wrote with my dear friend Melissa Kraft that goes, the chorus goes, from this road I can see all the possibility of one bright world. Take my hand and you'll see all the possibility. One bright world, one song in harmony. How's that?
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Robin says Jimmy's actor's poem is incredible masterpiece. Please let him read it, but you've read it. Didn't
No,
you?
I didn't read that one.
Not that one? Definitely share that one, because I know you teased it earlier. I
just had a special feeling. Everybody's suffering, but I just thought of actors as a special class. So as a species, we all just have to love. So I felt for them and wondered what it's like. So that's the poem. Thank you, Jim. I'll just do it quick. And it's called, Where Did the Actors Go? Hello, where did the actors go?
Right.
Coached, trained, their raw talents harnessed at studios and conservatories, paid dues, toured in children's theater, took temp jobs, auditioned, drafty rehearsal halls, sterile office buildings, booked gigs, Law and Order, a McDonald's commercial, an off-Broadway play, or maybe, praise the Lord, a Broadway musical that ran for years. Sensitive, hardy, determined beings, they nurtured their instruments, distinctive voices, special ways with a hand gesture or a final consonant, saved up, got married, joined a gym, took acting class, taught acting class, had children, had a life. On March 12th, 2020, they were told to go home, not to show up at half hour, not to memorize lines, vocalize to a B flat, rivet an audience with a character they created. All shut down, New York and everywhere. The pandemic has severed threads that link citizens to cities, actors, dancers to live audiences, singers to a million ears hungry for melody. But where did they all go? Some went digital, emoting on Zoom screens. Some went back to teaching. Some just went home. All of them wait through anxious nights for good news, the all clear, a glimpse of the dove after the flood, so they can breathe again, feel a stage under their feet again, find their way back to where and who they were.
That is extremely powerful, my friend. That is very, very beautiful, very powerful, and so poignant and spot on for everything that we're going through, and written with the actor in mind, but in so many different ways, written really for all of us, for whatever we do in life. Love that. Absolutely love that. These poems that are tied to what's going on now are really taking on a life of their own, and something that people are going to look back at. Are you going to compile them? How are you sharing them with?
Yes, I am, and I love sharing them, and I love to get them, as much. I used to give them to the Times, and they would often print them. They used to do more poetry in the Metropolitan Diary. I got such a kick out of that. But I just love reading them out loud, like you gave me the chance to do. And like I say, to me, it's as powerful as songs. I just think words alone are great. Don't you love words? I mean,
absolutely. That's why I went into
what am I asking you for?
Broadcasting business, communication, hosting, television, journalism, was the president of my debate team in college, LIU in New York.
Wow.
So love speaking, and I love conversing. I love having good, solid conversations with levity sprinkled in and inspiration, and makes you really think. You feel after I do these shows, I can't go to bed for a while. People say, oh, you must be exhausted. And, because you do shows that when I started this series back in April, the shows I said, we'll do an hour show. That's plenty. Most talk shows or entertainment shows or whatever, they're about an hour tops. If you can even get people to fill an hour, maybe they'll do 20 minutes, a half hour. Maybe they'll do it once a week, twice a week, or once a month, or whatever it is. And then it just started becoming like what tonight is, where it just rolls. I don't have a clock ticking, and I don't, I always ask the guests in advance, like I asked you, do you have a plane to catch? Is there a limo parked outside waiting? Do you have somewhere to be? Is there a time constraint other than that? We'll just roll. And I love the power of communication, because when you, and music and levity and poetry and all these things we're sharing tonight, all of it is very powerful. And when used correctly for the greater good, and when you are lifting people and inspiring people through your art and through your passion and through your work, it comes back tenfold. I'm as inspired and find it as therapeutic and lifting doing it as much as people tell me they're enjoying what we're doing. And I know, and I've been watching your facial expressions and movements, because I love also observing life, and I'm an observer of people, and how you just morph into whatever it is you're doing. There's so much of you being represented by the work, and it shows, kind of like what I'm doing here through this and my professional work as well. And the art of communication, bringing back the lost art of communication and conversation here on the show. So
you are. It's true. I
it's
think you're doing it in a unique way too. It went fast for me, and first I was a little worried that I saw many of your shows, are longer than the traditional show, but this is your way of doing things, and it flowed and it felt very natural. So when you're actually doing it.
Does it feel like we've actually been chatting for almost 3 hours?
No, that's what I mean. Let's not tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Keep it our secret. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, my friend. And again, you're welcome back anytime. And I tell all the guests, we don't have to go this long the next time. We can do shorter or whatever. But people, they like to be on, and they always say, when can I come back? I even have people that tell me, if somebody is ill or somebody doesn't show up, call me and I'll pop back on. There's actually like a standby list of people that want to come back on if somebody else at the last minute can't come on as scheduled, which to me is like, that's an honor. That's a blessing. I treat that with great respect when I hear things like that.
Well, I'm excited that you're going to have my erstwhile collaborator, Joe DiPietro, on. He's going to be great.
January 18th. We just confirmed that actually about 2 days ago, January 18th. Just wanted to show you a couple of things here. Robin Shaw, yes, speak for an ordinary morning.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Robin. And wonderful having you here too. Jill, you've mastered the art of creating a meaningful, intimate connection with your audience. Thank you very much, Jill. Jill also says, feel a stage under their feet again. Yeah. So beautiful. Allison, great job, both of you. Thank you very much. Jill, another beautiful show, Jim. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. Enid Zuckerman says, beautiful evening, Jimmy and Jim. Many thanks. A blessing. Thank you for joining us as well on our YouTube channel. Kathleen Walker, great show. Thank you both. Anne in California, a beautiful night of levity. Florida, Linda, thank you, Jimmy, for sharing with all of us levities. Kathy Short in Cleveland, thank you for a wonderful evening as well. Christine Clifton in North Carolina, thanks for playing that song again. Beautifully sung and played, straight from the heart. You are a levity and a great one. Robin Newman, wonderful evening. Thank you very much, Robin. Brilliant and heartfelt. What a powerful message in the song. Love it. Even Karen Campbell Green, who's in Nova Scotia. I love you. You're perfect. Now Change was one of the best musicals I've ever seen. Really made you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, great outpouring. Gillian Rose says, "You've warmed my heart, XOXO." Thank you very much, Jillian. That's a very nice comment, Jillian. We appreciate that. Love you, Jimmy Roberts. Good stuff. Good stuff, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing all of this. Was there something you were going to...
It's the Jimmy and Jim show.
Well, you know who loved it, who we showed earlier? George Burns. He loved it.
I told him I'd like it very much.
Good night, Gracie. Yeah, Jimmy loved it, and somebody else on a smaller scale, Gilligan, loved it as well. Very nice. Fantastic. One last comment coming in here from Jerry Lynn. Wonderful evening, filled my heart.
Thank you, Jerry Lynn.
Then the two Jameses, Jimmys, and Jims have done our job, right? If we've warmed their hearts. We'll have to do this again, and I hope once we get past all of this, we'll be able to get together and I say break bread, pour some wine, and chat some more. I would love to do that. It would be great to have an opportunity to do that in person, my friend.
Thank you, and to all my friends who listened, love you all. So grateful, and thanks for the opportunity, Jim. You made you give people, you know, it's wonderful what you're doing. Thank you.
I appreciate that, my friend. You have a very happy Hanukkah and best of all of the holidays and New Year. Let's stay in touch and connected. And you're welcome back anytime. Ann in SoCal, Southern California. Thanks for such a beautiful Sunday evening. Our pleasure. My friend, you have a wonderful evening. Go stretch those legs.
Okay.
Get that.
Someday you'll come to a reading of Welcome to the Big Dipper when we're back.
I would love that. I would love that, my friend. I would love that. You take care. Blessings to you and your family. And thanks for joining us on the show. And spread the word to everybody about the show. We would love that.
Love it. Okay.
Have a good night. Bye-bye now. The wonderful Jimmy Roberts, multi-talented, award-winning pianist, composer, vocalist, humorist, poet, a little of everything, right? He's got the full Monty of talents, and some of you know of him and you're a big fan and been following for years. Some of you have discovered him for the very first time right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. And we love when that happens, when you get an opportunity to be entertained, informed, great conversation, inspiring conversation. Now, these are marathons. Somebody told me that I should be entering these shows in some sort of Guinness Book of Records for online shows or whatever, because this is not a telethon and it's not a marathon. And I've hosted many telethons for a lot of charities and emceed many on television and elsewhere. Maybe there is something like that where we, you know, with the length and for the depth of these shows, we can enter these into some sort of category somewhere, web awards, who knows, but it's always a pleasure to have an opportunity to meet so many new folks who discover our show. And I hope you'll become regular loveties. All you have to do is tune in. That's about it. We're on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, Facebook at Jim Masters TV, every day, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I just want to let you know as well, we have an extraordinary guest tomorrow, singer and songwriter. Meg Flather is going to be with us live here on the Jim Masters Show Live. She's going to sing, perform. We're going to have a great conversation. Meg Flather is extraordinary. She was actually watching. She is watching our show this evening. And she commented as well. I really appreciate that. So she's going to be here tomorrow night. That's Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Then on Tuesday, extraordinary director and choreographer Jeff Whiting is going to be here, and that's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern, a very special matinee edition of the Jim Masters Show Live. Jeff Whiting, again, award-winning choreographer and director, is going to be with us 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, live on the Jim Masters Show live on YouTube and on Facebook. Then that's Tuesday, right? Then on Tuesday night, so that's 4 o'clock, 4 Eastern. Then at 7 Eastern, another double episode on our series here on Tuesday. The extraordinary keyboardist, as well as performer, entertainer, and so much more. He's worked with some of the greatest in the musical industry. He's considered a keyboard wizard. Bob Malone is going to be with us here on the show, and that is Tuesday night. He's going to play. We're going to have an incredible episode for you here. Bob Malone, the renowned and award-winning keyboardist, is going to be with us on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Then the extraordinary mezzo-soprano Celia Burke is going to be with us exclusively here on that's Wednesday evening, live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Another incredible singer, songwriter, and musician, Lily Roquin, is going to be with us on Thursday. She's all excited, and we're very, very happy to have her here. Then on Friday, this is really something very special. Dear friends of mine, Sir James Galway and Lady Jane Galway. Lady Jane Galway, Sir James Galway. They are, of course, husband and wife, the duet partners. He is extraordinary. 30 million records sold. He's an international legend. Irish flautist. We met at Carnegie Hall when I was emceeing, when I was Master of Ceremonies at Carnegie Hall for the Tim Janis American Christmas Carol concert. And they were celebrating the holidays, but also, and this was Tim Janis, the composer's concert. And Tim's a friend of mine, and we've done a lot of wonderful projects together. And Sir James happened to be there with Lady Jane, and they were honoring Sir James for his birthday. And the concert's usually in December. This year, not having it, of course, because of the situation, but usually participate in that every year. And a couple of years ago, Sir James was there, and we all stayed together. And that concert benefits Kate Winslet, the actress Kate Winslet's charity, Golden Hat Foundation, which is for autism. So Sir James Galway and Lady Jane Galway are going to be exclusively on our show this Friday, the 18th, at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That's Ireland, Scotland, England, where they are, in Switzerland. They live in Switzerland. She is from New York. He's originally from Ireland, of course. So that's Friday afternoon on the Jim Masters Show live, exclusively on our YouTube channel. That'll be on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Oh boy, that's amazing, right? And then Friday night, wonderful Broadway star and so much more, singer and actor and songwriter, J. Robert Spencer. He was in Jersey Boys. He's going to be with us. That is Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Jim Masters Show live. We can't wait for that. And then I'm going to skip over to Sunday because Darren Holden, who was in Riverdance and who's with the High Kings, he's going to be here live from Ireland, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT. And that's going to be on our YouTube channel this Sunday. Coming in January, English country music star Nathan Carter is going to be with us as well. Also, the internationally renowned Greek tenor Mario Frangoulis is coming live and direct from Athens. He's going to be here as well in January. I interviewed him several times on public television with my work with public television for many years. So Mario is going to be with us live and direct from Athens, Greece. And that's going to be absolutely amazing. And that's just some of the guests. Earlier today, Connor McGinty, singer, songwriter, musician Connor McGinty was with us for our 4 p.m. Sunday matinee show. If you missed that episode, it was fantastic. He played a lot of great music live and direct from Donegal, Ireland. He was a great guest. You can see that on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. We thank the extraordinary Jimmy Roberts for joining us once again here on the Jim Masters Show live. He is truly a talent and a true blessing and a fantastic guy, real gentleman, real spirited person from Long Island, from the island. How could he not be spirited and wonderful, right? Judy says, thank you so much for the wit and wisdom. We thank you. Anne says, have a very blessed week, everyone. You as well, Anne. We'll be back tomorrow night. And Kathleen says, thank you, Jim, for another great show. Have a great night. Good night, all. You as well, Kathleen. We love having you here. Carla says, and Carla has been watching throughout the entire evening in beautiful South America and gorgeous Brazil, which I need to get to. Brazil is one place I haven't been to yet. Truly, you deserve a Guinness Book Register because of this awesome online show that crosses frontiers. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that very, very much. And again, wonderful evening, filled my heart, and that's beautiful to know that. Thanks for such a beautiful Sunday evening. Thank you very much for being here. As long as you are here, all of you, we will continue these shows for you here. And of course, Rose Ben Flute, never get tired of hearing Jimmy R. Thanks from New York. You are very welcome. Linda says, good night, Mr. Levity. Go rest your legs. Good night, Levities. We shall do that. Robin, you do a great Andy G, but don't do it on YouTube. That's funny, Robin. And all of you who are watching, who have joined us for the first time, we welcome you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We would love that. And the Facebook page is Jim Masters TV as well. Kathy Short says, good night, Jim. It's been a wonderful weekend of entertainment. Yeah, 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and we've had 2 live shows today. That's unbelievable. That's 3, 6, 9, 10, like 30 hours of shows we've done here. Robin says, we hear you perfectly. Thank you, Robin. So we thank once again Jimmy, and we thank all of you. And a few things we do here at the end. We always say smile and put a smile on somebody else's face as well. It's contagious. Don't forget to share the loveity. That's very important, to share the loveity. And find your Zen place. I love the ocean. Growing up here in the Northeast, along the coast, Northeastern United States. Our show originates from the New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. So I'm always in the water, near the water, you know, boogie boarding, surfing, swimming, kiteboarding, sailing. Love the ocean. It speaks to me. But also my work in television and radio is my Zen place as well. With all the work I've done over the years and continue to do in the industry, that's Zen for me as well, as it would be for anybody that loves their work and is blessed to do work that they love and love what they do as well. So we thank everybody for joining us. We wish you the best of the holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year. We'll be back tomorrow night. We're in the thick of the holidays here together. We hope you love our festive set. Looking pretty good, huh? We also say to relax. Don't forget to relax, to take care of one another. Enjoy every moment of life. Life is fragile. Life is short. Relax, breathe from the diaphragm, and love yourself. You know, give yourself some self acknowledgement, especially if you're a caretaker type. Relax and breathe. We thank you very much. We toast all of you. Another wonderful evening, an outstanding whirlwind weekend this has been. Wow. I don't think I have much to say the rest of the night after we've done, you know, all these shows this weekend, but we're back tomorrow night. We do this every day, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll probably take a couple of days, you know, right around Christmas, which is the week after this. Hard to believe. We love you all, and thank you very much for joining us, whether you come here all the time or once in a while, or this is your first experience and dipping your feet here in the waters of the Jim Master Show Live. All about positivity, good times, light, love, levity, and lots of levity, and some Irish crack too. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You're truly a blessing. We wish you a good night. Christine Clifton from North Carolina says, thanks, Jim and Jimmy, for a beautiful show this evening. Lots of double levity the past few days. Good night, Jim and all. And thank you, Jim, for a magical evening. Thank you, Tina. It's wonderful having you here. Jill says, thank you again, Jim, for an amazing show. Have a great night, everyone. You too, XOXO. And Robin says, all I need to do is look at his face and I can get it completely. That is funny. You can read Jimmy's lips, right? That's a talent, Robin. That's a talent. Thank you, Christine. Smiles and hearts. You as well, Kathleen in New York. And you're here all the time, Allison. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Really beautiful comments. And thanks for joining us, everybody. You're all lovities, whether you're longtime lovities or you just became a lovity tonight. We wish you a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show Live. We're going to say goodnight, everybody watching in all the different time zones around the world. Thank you. And don't forget, if you would like to see this again, or any of our 37 plus weeks of our series, our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, the Jim Masters Show Live, everything is there. A lot of people binge watch our series, incredible guests, amazing conversations, great entertainment, and more. Right there for you on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. All the past episodes. And this episode will be available for you to watch again if you want to see it again and enjoy. You told your friend about us. Thank you, Allison. That's a beautiful thing to do. Good night, everybody. You be well. You take care. We love you all. And thanks for watching the Jim Masters Show Live. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube and Facebook at Jim Masters TV on the Jim Masters Show Live. Love you all. Take care. Be well. And we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.